Thank you for joining us. Another good edition of Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. My name is David Jones, your host. Want to thank everybody as usual for coming to check us out. Episode number 32. Can't thank you all enough for riding with us since last November. It's been interesting, and we're going to keep moving as usual. We got an awesome show tonight. We got four very good guests. Starting off with our first guest, the head coach of Paris Junior College, Coach Brittany Christian. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Running as usual. I've been in the past 3 days all over the place. And when I say all over the place, let's see. Saturday, I was in Orlando for the JUCO showcase on the men's side. I flew Sunday up to Carbondale, Illinois for the Midwest Junior College showcase. Flew back last night to Atlanta to get ready for the show, and here we are.
Oh man, you really have been all over the place.
Hey, you got to grind. You know how it is. Definitely have to grind. But thank you for coming on the show. And we want to talk some more. I'm big on every level, whether it's JUCO, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, NAI. I'm big on this platform, everybody having a voice. And, when we first connected, I said, hey, I would love to have you on the show because, a lot of people, I know about women's JUCO basketball and the many positives for it, but, I wanted to bring you on and talk about your program and, just let people get to know you as a person as well. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about Paris Junior College, where it's located, and tell us a little bit about the program.
Okay. Paris Junior College is located in Paris, Texas. And I know everybody is probably like, where in the world is Paris, Texas? But we are right up in like the northeast corner, right in that Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma kind of niche. Okay. We are about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes from Dallas.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with Texas A&M Commerce, which is a very, very successful Division II school, we're like 2 minutes away from their campus.
Okay, got you. Okay. Yeah. And how long have you been coaching at Paris JUCO?
This is my first year. I am brand new here at Paris. I got hired in June. So, since June 1st, I've been rocking and rolling.
Okay. Now, where were you previously to Paris Junior College?
I was the assistant coach at Indiana State University last season, up in the Missouri Valley. And then for a couple years prior to that, I was an assistant at Delaware State University.
Okay, the HBCU. Okay, okay. And where did you play ball at?
I played ball at St. Paul's College, which is down in Lawrenceville, Virginia. So I'm an HBCU grad too. I played ball there at St. Paul's, and then I went and got my master's and was a graduate assistant at Virginia State University.
Yes, sir. Another CIAA.
Yes, I'm an HBCU lover. I'm an HBCU advocate.
Okay. As you see, some of the people that are watching the show, they're HBCU lovers as well as Texas JUCO lovers as well. Yes. So that I'm going to guess on this. You probably are from the DMV area, correct?
I am. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
I played basketball, high school basketball at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. Just to brag a little bit, our program is still holding strong up there. We've been, state contenders for quite a few years in the running now, and we're gonna bring it
home. Okay. And I'm from Pittsburgh, and I remember many moons ago when I was in high school, when we played in a lot of the summer camps, a lot of the guys from like Lake Clifton and then the big private schools like, the Matha and all of those, St. John's Prep, we would get to see a lot of those guys play. And I just always remember Lake Clifton because they had a guy. And of course, I played during the times when Baltimore Dunbar was out of this world. And actually DC Dunbar wasn't bad either, but everybody knew about Baltimore Dunbar back in the day when they had a legendary team. They had 4 or 5 pros on that team with Reggie Lewis and Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Williams. It was one more, but that team was phenomenal. And, that's what put Baltimore on the map. Like, where are these guys from? And, and we all know, well, anybody that is familiar with grassroots basketball knows that DMV is very strong on the boys and girls side, very strong. There's a number of good teams from Team Durant, Team Durant, what's it, Team Assault? Is it DC Assault?
Yeah, DC Assault. Team Mellow is
Team
in there.
Mellow, yeah.
Yep, so it is. And then on the girls' side, they're gonna kill me. Team Takeover is like just kind of
Takeover. Yeah, Takeover is the team
right now. Like they are right now. Yeah. And then you have like Power Move. Power Move always had some pretty good kids on there too, from the Baltimore side of it as well.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: Paris is a D1 JUCO, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that means you guys are giving out full scholarships?
Yep, we do. We pretty much everyone in Texas has everyone in our region has the same package. So we do have 12 fulls is how we're funded. But we may kind of break it down some so that we can flesh out a full roster. Everybody kind of has to make that work. So you may have a couple partials here and there, but for the most part, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I'm assuming those couple partials probably come with kids that are Pell eligible, so it covers everything, correct? That's what I figured.
Yeah,
okay, that's a great news, boy.
Yeah.
So you're covering about 15, 16 kids, probably?
Yeah. Well, on my roster this year, I have 13.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I came in June, so I didn't want to just go out and grab bodies. I wanted to make sure I had a solid core of kids, not just with talent, but character. Because in the first year of the program, I want to build a solid foundation, and I really want to represent ourselves well and build up. So I just didn't want to go out and just kind of grab kids from any and everywhere.
Absolutely. As you can see, you'll see over there on the side, we let all of our listeners, if they want to type in and say stuff. And Deshauna's big on the women's side too. She's very familiar with Team Takeover. But so what are you really looking for when you say you're trying to build a program outside of character? Are you looking for people that, you tell me before I ask that, what are you really looking for?
For me, I know it's kind of like weird to say almost in a basketball sense, but I love energy. Like, I love kids that love being in the gym. And I think that's one thing that I kind of got right with my kids that I have in here. Like my kids are always in the gym. I'm in the office now.
Oh yeah. I heard in the background. I heard that buzzer in the background.
Yeah. But like energy, like kids that are just excited and hungry about basketball, that want to work, that want to learn. We played in a showcase, then a Dave Neely showcase.
Oh, Mansfield?
Yeah. And they were bugging me for the film before I could sit down and watch the film. So like I want kids that have a strong desire to learn, to grow, to improve, that have a really good work ethic, good character kids. And my thing is like for our program foundation, it has to be gritty, Again, I went to an HBCU. I went to a D2 HBCU at that. So I don't have a history of, bright lights, big names, flashy stuff going on. Like that has not been my basketball journey or my basketball experience. And it shaped the person that I am. And I want my kids to have that same kind of hunger and work ethic. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking at kids. Now, clearly we want some talent in there. Like,
definitely.
But, I want talent that wants to work,
And see, and there's two things that you just said that stuck out about that. Number one, you said you wanted to be gritty. Number one, that's always been Baltimore. You're going to go get it. If you're from Baltimore, it's not given to you. You got to go get it. Number two, that's the JUCO culture as well. And with you also coming from D1 as well at Indiana State, you know what it takes to get to that level. And sometimes they don't understand what needs to happen. And, you know, by you being there and you can break it down, this is what you need to do in order to get to D1 or D2, because there's some high D2s that run just like D1s as well. But to get to that next level, that next 4-year level, you're going to understand that. And that's big for Paris Junior College, you know, to have someone like you as well. So do you have 1 or 2 assistants with you?
I have 1 assistant. And he actually came over with me from Indiana State. His name is Reggie Mosley. Yep. Okay. So he was one of our graduate assistants up there last year while I was working up there. And, you know, I just really liked how he stepped in for us. We didn't have a 3rd full-time assistant last season because of COVID, hiring freeze, and all kind of stuff going on. So as a graduate assistant, he stepped in and he was helping us to recruit. He was doing game scouts. He was doing individual position workouts. You know, whatever we needed, he kind of stepped in and he showed that he was ready. So, you know, when I got this opportunity, it was a no-brainer. We already developed the synergy with working with one another already. So just to move it over, it just made complete sense.
Absolutely. You know, when you always have a good feeling for somebody, it's not even a matter of, okay, let me see what this person's work ethic is. You already know what it is. So you all can hit the ground running. And when do you all start? I'm assuming you all start in the next 2 weeks, right?
Yep. Our first game is November 1st.
Wow. Yeah, it's coming up. Up.
Whether we're ready or not, it's coming.
You ready to make it happen?
I am. I'm excited. I know, like, my kids, I know I'm working them harder probably than they have ever been worked. I do that because they tell me that very often. But, you know, I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying seeing their growth, like even small things to their bodies. You know, like one of my kids came running in here the other day and said, "Coach, I lost 18 pounds."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's big there. That's really big.
Right. You know, I've lost 18 pounds. I'm starting to see the definition in my arms. I'm starting to see the definition in my back. You know, if you have these aspirations, like you said, like in the Missouri Valley, we got 6'1" wings out there, and they're 6'1" wings, and they're fast. So you got to be big, you got to be strong, you got to be fast, you got to be efficient, and that's what I'm trying to get them to understand. Is like, get that work going, get used to that grind, get used to that, because it's always going to be a dogfight. And I think JUCO is a perfect avenue to prepare you for something.
Yes, indeed. And I'll be the first to speak on that. In the past 3 weeks, you know, I've been to men's JUCO showcases. I've been to women's JUCO showcases. I didn't make Dave Neely's, even though I was right there. I was at Jerry McMillan's at his showcase right there in Fort Worth. I mean, and there were people trying to go back and forth. I just couldn't make it. I went to Corey Black's JUCO event here in Atlanta, and it was very good, very good. Okay. And so, you know, the best thing I saw about women's JUCO basketball, well, number one, there was about 35 to 40 coaches easily there, from D1, D2. There was a few NAIs there, but, you know, they were looking for high-level talent, because the way basketball is now, and the people don't understand, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this, is a lot of programs are looking to go older, faster right now. So they're looking for kids to come in that are 20, 21 that can play. Would you agree with that?
I do. And it's funny because I literally just had this conversation with my kids yesterday. So yesterday was Sunday. Texas A&M Commerce had an open practice. So I went, a couple of my kids went down there to, you know, go take a look in. And as we're, you know, talking about it afterwards, I'm explaining to them, even some of my freshmen, like I have some really talented freshmen on my team. And I'm explaining to them, you know, as a freshman and as a freshman qualifier, you don't have to be here for 2 years.
Correct. Yes.
But if you want to give yourself a great opportunity, you can't play this season like you're a freshman, because other coaches aren't looking at you as a freshman. They look to JUCO kids to be no maintenance kids. You're supposed to understand college. You're supposed to understand time management. You're supposed to understand working hard. By the time you get there, all they want to teach you is their system.
100% on that. Exactly.
Right.
They're looking at you like you're coming in pretty much ready made, not
Right.
to come in as an 18-year-old freshman and you're looking at the campus and the glitz and glamour. They're like, look, you're here for a reason. You were at JUCO for a reason to get you prepared for this. So let's make it happen. Let's drop the balls and let's make it happen. Like you said, here's the system. This is what we do. Let's roll.
Right. And so, that's just kind of why I'm trying to throw everything at my kids. I really do. Like, they get up and their schedule right now is kind of insane. They get up, they lift 6:30 in the morning, they go to class, have individual workouts, then have like film, they'll have study hall, we'll have practice. Like, I'm putting them through it for, the first month and a half, 2 months of school, so that they can really like get a real good taste of that grind. And then of course we'll scale back within probably like next week as we start preparing for our actual games. But they've been going through it for
the past 6-7 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So let me ask this. So tell us a little bit about the team that you got for this year. I know you said you recruited some new faces, and whether you have some returning faces. Tell me some more about the team you have.
My team is really guard heavy. And I don't mind it as much. I would like a little bit more size, but I want to play an up-tempo, really aggressive style of play anyway. So the only thing I'm concerned about is the rebounding aspect, which means we all got to go get it at this point.
The rebound is the team, definitely.
Yeah. But I'm really excited. I think this team will definitely kind of hit its peak as we're going into conference play. Again, it's just a lot of new stuff, and then they just have to get used to me and my expectation. But I would say of our returning kids, I have 4 kids returning from last year's team. And I'm really, really excited about one of my kids, Miriam Yarrow. Miriam is 5'11", really solid body. She could play the 3-4. She rebounds well. She can post up. She can shoot to the 3 with ease, with range. Like, she's really, really versatile. And I think she'll probably be like our more dominant force. We can just put her in a lot of different situations and get a bucket when we need a bucket. Outside of that, I have some really scrappy guards. I mentioned I had some pretty good freshmen. My starting point guard is going to be a freshman. She's from Chandler Park Academy up in Detroit, Michigan. Nikesha Sanders. And the thing that I love about her is you're not going to be able to know she's a freshman on the floor. She's so like steady. She's so composed, very heady. She was her class valedictorian. So you hear that, you're like, she's JUCO?
At JUCO, yeah, exactly. A lot of people would never suspect that. But that lets you know she's coming to JUCO to work on her game.
Right.
And like you said, she may be there for a year, or she needs to develop more. The one thing I love to hear what you said without me even asking, you're big on player development.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, like what we were doing with our kids, they were in straight boot camp for a good 4 weeks, running, lifting, individual workouts. I even make them do a shot chart during the week. Like, our kids have to make 800 shots and 200 free throws every week outside of practice. It has nothing to do with our individuals, nothing to do with our practice, none of that. And I challenge them to it, take pride in preparing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we do. Listen, it doesn't matter what play I call if the ball doesn't go through the basket. And
you're so right about that. I'm gonna tell on you a little bit by just listening to the type of roster you have. That lets me know you got a tough, gritty team.
A little bit. We're getting there.
No, I'm tell on you, and because like I said, people don't understand a lot of times where you're raised at, and even as you go through this whole basketball experience, that molds even your coaching style. And I can almost tell, like you said, as soon as you said, "Oh, I'm running up tempo," that means you got guards in your face. That means you pressing as soon as the ball goes in. You're not letting nobody you playing passing lanes. You're doing a little bit of everything, to the point where people that aren't used to this will usually have to call a timeout in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Like, hold on, we got to get set for this. We weren't ready for this.
That's what we're trying to build up to. So in a perfect world, yes, that'll be us. And again, it probably won't be us until a little bit later. and maybe later in the first half of the season. You know, we got to get in shape for that. And like I said, I have 13 kids. I did lose a kid for the first semester. She tore her meniscus. So I had that. And then one of my primary post players took a nasty fall and she fractured her arm. So I won't even have her back until like mid-November.
6-8 weeks, yeah.
So you know, we'll kind of press and be active like that in spots, but we're just not going to be ready at the beginning of the season to go full force into it. So, you know, we'll get there eventually, and that's going to be the foundation as we move forward. But, you know, for now, we definitely have to pick and choose our spots when we're going to be aggressive and when we're going to kind of hold off and save some energy and hold our bodies.
Okay. And now, what conference and which schools are in your conference there?
We're in the juggernaut, Region 14. We got Tyler. Tyler's number 2 in the country. Tyler's number 2 in the country, and Coach Trina does a phenomenal job down there. I mean, just can't say enough about her. She does an amazing job. We have Trinity Valley. They were the national runner-up last year. You know,
you got the gauntlet down there.
Coach P's been doing a great thing. Panola. I mean, Panola's roster is insane. I think they had maybe like 7 D1 transfers coming this year. Two kids on their team that's 6'4" in the post. I mean, like we have a heavy hitter every single night. There's not a night that you can go to sleep in this conference. Which is I'm excited about it, and I love that challenge, and I love that challenge for our kids because again, if you want to play at the highest level, this is your first taste of playing at the highest level. This is the highest level of junior college basketball. We're standing right in the middle of it.
Absolutely. Let me ask this: do you think you have any 4-year kids? And I'm sure you probably do. Do you think you have a couple 4-year kids that go D1, D2, or NAI?
I do. I mentioned Miriam Yarrow. She's definitely a really good one. I think my freshmen definitely had that opportunity. And I have a couple kids that transferred in. Like I have a Division I transfer in Taya Robertson. She transferred in from Longwood. I mean, she's definitely a D1 kid talent-wise. We just got to get her in shape. She didn't play last year. Still like playing her way into shape and getting through that. And then I also have a couple more transfers. Renee Tumblin, who transferred in from Pearl River. She didn't play that much last year at Pearl River, but in high school, she was a prolific scorer. Out of the state of New Orleans, won a New Orleans state championship with a team full of freshmen.
Wow.
With freshmen. She won a New Orleans state championship.
That's big.
Yeah. So, you know, again, our team, like they're just learning and they're listening and they're trying their best to do everything I ask. And as long as they continue to do that for me, I'm going to do as much as I can to put them in position to be successful at the end of this.
So you know, one other thing, well, you grabbing those drop downs too. Hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do because everybody else is doing it. Like you said, one of them had like 7 D1 drop downs. I'm like,
yeah.
And so I want you to confirm something, especially for parents that have young ladies that are interested in playing. Technically, this is high level, high major, mid-major D1 basketball, in your opinion, right?
Absolutely. You know, a lot of questions that I get when I'm doing recruiting and I'm talking to parents and stuff, or even sometimes with coaches, they'll ask like, well, you know, I've been a Division I assistant. I consider the Missouri Valley high major D1 basketball. Like that basketball, those coaches up there are phenomenal. You know, so that's very good mid-major. So why come back to junior college after I'd already, you know, done a stint? 2 reasons. One, if we're talking about competition and really going for something, unless you're South Carolina or you're Stanford, you're not really competing for a national championship year to year. I mean, we just got to be honest about that. You know, being in this conference and being in this region, somebody is going to go to the Final Four. We're going to have 2 or 3 teams in the Elite 8, you know. So like this conference prepares you to play at, you know, at the highest level. And that's so there again, there are a lot of Division I programs that can't say that they're going to achieve that. So to say, like, oh, JUCO ball isn't, high level, or is, it's not going to get you, it's not preparing you for anything, that's absolutely not the truth.
Yeah. Man, like I said, I know what JUCO basketball is. I mean, I tell people all the time, and of course, there's levels to JUCO basketball, where there's JUCO D1, JUCO D2, but JUCO D3. But people have to understand, like, whether it's on the girls or the men's side, men, these are high level kids that are playing. So if you really want to be honest, and I'm not trying to toot your horn, there's you guys could beat some D2 and D1 programs. Nobody ever wants to talk about that, but that's the level, especially your region. Everybody knows what Region 14 is. Everybody knows what it is. That are within, the basketball scene. So if they were to say, hey, let's scrimmage this team and that team, there's some D1s, but oh no, we don't want no part of that. We don't want no part of that. And with you being a first-year coach, that's fine. But once you start getting those killers in there that you call, that you're going to covet, please, it's going to get ugly real fast. And I think it's great somebody of your experience is there, because that only makes the region even stronger. Like, geez, what next? You know what I mean? Which is good. Which is really good. And, I can't wait to pay attention to, how you guys do this year. And I can only imagine, you're going to be recruiting all over the country, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
I know it was kind of, because you said you got there in, was it June, you said?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a rush, okay, I got to get my recruiting underway. Now you're going to have a whole year to really get that rolling. Oh, yeah, it's going to be interesting real quick. So, and everybody else in that region is going to have to be on notice that, you guys are going to be there. I got one question before I let you go. And I always have to ask this as well. What type of programs, and this is outside of basketball, so let's say I want to come to Paris Junior College, what can I major in there? What type of associates can I get?
Oh, I mean, we have a wide range. I have kids on my team that are majoring in engineering. I have kids that we have nursing here. If you want to go into nursing, kinesiology, if you want to do like athletic training or, physical therapy, something along those lines. I mean, we have business, English, journalism, biology, environmental science. I mean, if you name it, we have it.
That's impressive.
The great thing about the Texas system is that a lot of our kids, should they want to stay in Texas, everything is gonna just go right into any
4 year. Yeah, so those credits will transfer over.
Right, and then also the Texas accreditation and all is so rigorous that even if they go out of state, they really don't have any issues with transferring credits into out of state things too. Because I tell you, getting hired in Texas and going through all of my transcript checks and all that stuff just to get hired, it has nothing on any other background check I've ever been through in my life. So when they say Texas is about the business, Texas is about the business from top to bottom. So these people come here, you're not going to have too many issues with them academically or worrying about credits transferring or anything like that.
Okay. Listen, I love what I'm hearing. And you know what? With this being your first year, we'll probably check back in March or April or sometime around that time to bring you back on the show, because you'll be, you'll have your feet wet by that time. And then you'll say, okay, this is what happened this year. Now we're really ready, and congratulations, number one, just definitely congratulations on getting the job. I know you have the connections, because Indiana State was a good program as well, the Missouri Valley. And, you're going to be able to help those girls get to D1, D2, NAI. And even like I said, now I'll say this as well. You got kids that are majoring in engineering. Some of them will be able to go to some of those UAA schools on the D3 level as well. And, I preach that as well. For them to please don't discount that option, because when that ball stops bouncing, you'll be taken care of very well with the alumni and what they can do from you from a job perspective. But,
Absolutely.
Coach Christian, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, I can't wait to see how you turn out Paris Junior College. And And gosh, I hate that I was right there not this past weekend, the weekend before, but I couldn't make it to Mansfield. But that's going to be on my checklist for next year to make Mansfield and Dave Neely's one, because he runs a great showcase every year.
He absolutely does.
Yes, absolutely. That'll definitely be, if I have to split time between the men's one and the women's one next year, I would do that. And I'll definitely look forward to meeting you at that event. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Definitely. Well, you take care. And, this won't be your last time coming on the show. And it was definitely a pleasure having you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time.
All right. Anytime. You take care. Okay.
You too.
All right. Coach Christian from Paris Junior College. Even though it's first year, you see she has 4-year experience. So I fully expect for that program to definitely turn around real fast. Man, our next guest, and as we're rolling right into our next guest, another first-year coach, great guy. He came from Texas as well, Atlanta. Please understand, he's going to have this program in the right direction real soon. Very good guy. I've been to his practice. I know the assistant very well. This is Coach Alexander from Clayton State University. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, David?
Man, I'm good, man. Man, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We've been talking about this, man, and I had to show Clayton State some love. With us being based out of Atlanta, we make sure everybody from Atlanta gets their shine. And man, you're doing some big things over there at Clayton State. And, with this being your first year, I wanted people to understand that, what you have planned. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
everybody's saying the office looks great. I like the colors too as well. That is kind of nice, man. I see where the budget is going already, man. Got that place looking plush.
No, I don't know about that, but
it's all right. Let me ask you this as we jump into this, man, and I'm excited to have you here in Atlanta, man. I know you came from Rice, which is in Texas as well, and I just wanted to bring this out so people can understand and get down to the South Side and see you play this year, man. Tell us about Clayton State, man, and tell us what you got planned for this year, man.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on here today, David. You guys do a tremendous job of bringing exposure to all of us in this Atlanta area, and we truly appreciate that. As far as Clayton State, we are in this general Atlanta area, and it is a great institution. It is a beautiful, beautiful campus with about 7 lakes on it. That's why we're called the Lakers. Some very beautiful scenery here. Great atmosphere. We have a new president that's coming in the same year here with myself. And, I think things are looking great. And we hope, that it does just that. As far as our basketball program, obviously, you're right. I spent the last 2 years at Rice, learned a lot. But prior to that, I spent 20 years as a head coach, from Mansfield University in Pennsylvania to University of South Carolina, Aiken, where I spent 10 years as a head coach. And also at St. Leo in Florida for 4 years. So, I am familiar with this area, with this conference. We had tremendous success in this conference when I was at USC Aiken. We won 4 conference championships. I think we probably finished second, three of those that we didn't win. We had a great span and a lot of success. And obviously due to, having some great players and, some great assistants like I have now in Andre and Jason. And Andre was one of those great players at USC Aiken for me as well. So we're looking to do some great things here. We're going to be in this Atlanta area. We're going to keep some of these kids at home, get some of that talent to stay right around here. And I think we're going to put together a phenomenal program here, one that will compete nationally.
Absolutely. I'll speak on your behalf already. I've already seen you out at showcases, so everybody
Yeah.
knows you're putting in the work to find those kids that you're looking for to fit your system. So I've seen you and Andre out as well already, and that's always a good thing because people pay attention to that to see if you're actually out here because the Atlanta basketball community is strong. It's very strong, and to
Very
see
strong.
see that Clayton State emblem out there, they're like, okay, I see him out here. So now kids understand, oh yeah, Clayton State is out there. They're out there at events, high school, JUCO, whatever it is, post grad. They're going to be out there because they're, like you said, you're trying to keep this local talent, which is in abundance. There's abundance of local talent, and you're trying to get a share of that as well, so you can make some noise in the Peach Belt. Because we all know the Peach Belt is no joke, and with you coaching at USC Aiken, we know about that as we talked about that previously when you had those rivalries with Augusta University.
Yeah.
That's it's a battle. So now what's your rival is going to be Columbus State now.
Yep.
So
that'll be a good one. And Robert Moore over there, who does a really good job. It'll be a great battle. We're looking forward to a great rivalry. God willing, we'll own it. But we're gonna definitely work hard, and we're definitely gonna prepare. And like I said, God willing, we do real well and make some noise and own that rivalry.
I got you. So the other thing, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about tonight, to get everybody accustomed to coming down there as well. Let's talk about that roster you have for this year. You got some local talent as well. I know you have Deuce from where's Deuce from? Where's Deuce from again? Deuce is from Columbus.
Now I'm thrown off.
Yeah, Deuce is from Columbus.
He's from Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah, he's from Columbus, Georgia. And everybody knew about Deuce when he played on, the AAU circuit. So, and we know his coach very well. Corey Black.
Black,
Coach is a very, very good friend of ours. He's been on the podcast as well. But tell us about that roster. I've seen some of those kids. Tell us about some of those kids that that plan to make some noise this year.
I tell you, we have been really blessed, David. We have I think we have a really solid roster, and that was in recruiting just coming in March, and a COVID year, where you're dealing with a pandemic and trying to recruit, trying to get kids here. So we had to do a lot of recruiting via Zoom, and so we were very blessed and very fortunate to land some of the kids we have, and I do think we got a really good crop. We got the 6'10" Jalen Shaw that came from St. Bonaventure. We got Brian Coffey, who is a local kid, Shiloh, and was at Middle Tennessee. And he's an Atlanta area kid. We have a shooter, probably one of the best shooters I've had in a long time, Xavier Joyner, and he's a transfer from Concordia up in New York. We got Ricardo Lynch, a 6'8" guard. We got Wes Williams, who's a 6'9" guard. We got a 7-foot transfer from Georgia Southern and Fred Odiambo. That's just to name a few. I think we got a really solid crew. I think these guys can be really solid, can be really good. But it depends on how well we come together and how quickly we come together. And like you said, you were in practice. We're working very hard to do that. And these guys are doing a great job. They're having some good days and bad days, but honestly, we have more good days than bad days. And so, we build on the good days and not the bad days. So we use the bad days as a learning tool to help us sharpen up and get better to have more good days.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, one of the things I definitely wanted to mention before I forget, you got a big little showcase that's going to be coming up down there. And I wanted you to bring that out so people can check that out. You were telling me at practice, you're going to have a 14 little showcase there, right?
Yeah, we have two. We have one coming up, the opener season, a conference challenge with Lincoln Memorial, who was in the Final Four last year, and Tusculum, who was an NCAA tournament team. USC Aiken will be here. They're in all conference, so we'll have a conference challenge. That's going to be a great battle. And then the following weekend, it's going to be a really good battle. We have Clark Atlanta coming in and Tuskegee.
Wow. Okay.
We'll be playing both of them. So that's going to be a tremendous weekend right there. I think that's the 19th and 20th of November.
Okay.
So we'll play Clark Atlanta on Friday night, and then we'll play Tuskegee on Saturday. And Georgia College will be joining us. So Georgia College will be playing, the team that we don't play. So it's gonna be a nice little battle, man.
Oh yeah, and coach down there at Georgia College, he does a good job too. Definitely another friend of ours as well. Man, you sound like you got some nice stuff coming up, man. I like that. I know what we'll try and do, man, to support. Man, we'll probably get some of our AAU kids together to come down there, like we were talking about before, because, as we talked about, a lot of people don't realize how tough Division II is. And I want you to attest to this, man. When you were at USC Aiken, how many kids did you send overseas?
During my time at USC Aiken, we sent about 21.
I'm sorry. Can you go ahead and repeat that, man? I'm not trying to be funny. I want people to understand you sent 21 kids from USC Aiken overseas.
Yeah, 21 kids overseas. Yeah, we had a tremendous amount of talent. We had some great guys, and they worked hard. They believed, and they came in. They worked hard, and we pride ourselves on developing our kids even after they get here. And getting them ready. And we're trying to do the same thing here. But, yeah, we had about 21 pros during my 10 years at USC Aiken.
That speaks in itself. And as well as I know, there's D1 programs that don't churn them out like that. And, that is definitely a salute to you, what you do, and a testament to your program as well. If you said 21, not to bash any other program, but man, if they're not doing it like that, I mean, you'd be a fool not to consider, your expertise and what you've done in the past. That'd be absolutely crazy. So, one of the other things I wanted to touch on as well, we touched on the roster. We touched on the 2 big-time showcases. Man, I only thought about the first one, but that second one got me even more excited because, that one, when you play Clark, oh, my gosh, everybody's going to be down there for that one, man.
Yeah, that'll be a battle. That'll be a war.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, one of the big trends about, even on the D2 level, you guys are getting drop downs, and you saw my first guest was a JUCO head coach. You guys are going to be big on grabbing JUCO kids as well, correct?
Yes. We definitely were. You saw us out at the showcase, and we're trying to land some of those kids, and JUCO definitely looking at some JUCO kids, and we look at some high school kids along, with a few transfers, Division I transfers. We try to get a good mixture, try to keep it balanced, keep our classes balanced so that we can, I think that was really a big reason why we had so much success at Aiken. We were able to bring those guys in and keep those classes rolling. Even when we brought in a transfer, we sort of offset that with a freshman to make sure we're building that culture and building that program, so we will be able to sustain winning. And that's what happened at Aiken. We just sustained winning. I mean, my first 2 years, we put the program together and we struggled. But my last 8 years, we won. We won a lot of games. So we were able to do that by making sure we balance those classes, and we bring in some JUCO transfers along with some Division I transfers and high school kids.
Absolutely. So one of the next questions I have for you as well, you touched on it without me even asking, because we know Coach Anthony was one of your kids at USC Aiken. So one of the things, even if I had a child that was interested in coming to your program, I always ask this question because I want parents to hear this as well. So when my time is up at Clayton State, and let's say I want to come back and work on my master's, can I come to Coach Alexander and say, hey, Coach, I want to come back and get my master's. Can I come on as a grad assistant?
No doubt. That's what we want. We want to keep our kids here if they want to be here, become a part of that, basketball tree. That's great. Yeah, we're always looking to do that. Take our guys. Coach Anthony played for me. Coach Roscoe played for me. When I was at Aiken.
See, I didn't know that. I thought only Coach Anthony played for you. So both of them played for you.
Yeah, Coach Roscoe played for me. He actually played for me in high school and college.
Wow. Okay.
I actually started coaching him. He was in my program when he was 14 years old. Okay. And so then he came to when he was in high school, I went to college and he followed me to college.
Okay.
And he played for me 4 years there, where he lettered in football and basketball and track. Okay. And then, now obviously he's an assistant coach with me here, Coach Anthony. At St. Leo, my guys, they would all of them were guys that played in our program, either at USC Aiken or St. Leo or Mansfield, where I was prior to USC Aiken.
So that lets me know you're big on the family culture there.
I'm really big on that. We don't just say family when we bring it in. We mean family. It's really important to us, and we don't just throw fluff out there talking about family. And then the next thing we're talking about each other, mistreating each other. No, this is a family. This is really a family, and it doesn't mean that everything's perfect in a family. Just like normal families, we may have issues, but we resolve those issues as a family.
Absolutely.
And so we definitely established that here, and that's a part of our cultures, family.
Okay, I like that.
And if you look on the back of all jerseys, practice jerseys, there's no numbers. It says family.
Yes, sir. I remember that. I definitely remember that.
No numbers. It just says family.
I like that. I definitely like that. So one of the other big things about this podcast, and I know this is going to hit home for you as well, I'm big on the educational side as well. And with you coming from Rice, you understand that education component definitely, because you had to recruit high academic kids. And I like to ask these questions as well. So we'll start off with just, what type of majors does Clayton State have, and what type of majors are some of your student athletes taking?
The majority of our guys are in business because that's really big here. They have an outstanding business program. They even have their own version of Shark Tank, where they have people come in and help, and they help our students to even start their own business and things like that when they graduate. Mm-hmm. So business is very good. Criminal justice, is another good one. I mean, they have engineering, they have all of that, but I think the majority of our guys sort of go between business and communications.
Okay.
Communications and even criminal justice. But the two main that I guess we get are communications and business.
Got you. Sounds good. I like that. Now, like I said, I I already knew you, but I inadvertently bumped into you out there on the recruiting trail, when you were looking at prospects. And I think this is important so people know, even with you being here in Atlanta, what type of kid are you looking for that is recruitable in your eyes?
Well, I mean, I think one of the first things we look for in a kid is their character. I mean, just honestly, you can have a great kid with poor character, and that's just not going to get you, far. It could be a cancer in your program. So that's the first thing, we focus in on, David, is just that character. And then obviously, talent has led us to that point to even go watch them.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously we know the talent. Then we check out that character. And then we look to see, honestly, the very next thing for us is how coachable are they? How coachable? Can they be pushed? Because this program is going to be a very honest program. We're not going to tell you things that just tell you things you want to hear. We're going to tell you the things you don't want to hear. We're going to show you the film you don't want to see, as well as tell you the things that you need to hear, and as well as showing you the film you need to see. So you're not going to get one side is what I'm saying, David. You're going to get it all, and it's going to be real. Sometimes we're going to tell you today, I told my team, we lost today in practice. We lost. We had a terrible practice. And I was honest with them, and I called some guys out. I confronted them, and I'm teaching them leadership in that. And that sometimes you have to confront, because there's accountability on all our parts.
Absolutely.
And, we want them to own up and take responsibility. And when you do that, you can build a team of leaders. And when you build a team of leaders, you can go a long ways.
I like that.
So those are the things we're looking for. And leadership being one of those things as well.
Definitely. What you just said just hits home, because what you're teaching them is you're also teaching them life skills as well. So when this ball stops bouncing, that accountability, it holds big in, raising a family. It holds big in getting jobs and keeping them, and just being overall accountable. You know what I'm saying? So I love what you're doing over there with that. One other thing I wanted to ask as well is, as you look at this and you look long term, I love the way you coach. And I always ask this question as well, just looking at your practice and looking at your principles, how important is it for somebody to know the shell drill coming to Clayton State?
Oh, I mean, it's important. It's a basic fundamental.
Absolutely.
It's a basic fundamental, and, we really expound on that, that drill. When you talk about that shell drill, we're really, we're pushing guys to sprint to positions. We're teaching guys to see man and ball. A lot of times if you watch teams doing shell, half the guys staring at the ball, half the guys, not in the right position. We hold guys accountable for being in the right position. Even in a simple drill such as shell drill, we hold all guys accountable for doing it right and working hard in it. So they'll come to us and going, shell drill, man, y'all take it seriously. Yes, we do. We take it seriously because we do everything game-like,
The game-like
I don't even let my guys, when you're just shooting and they walk in and get a rebound. We don't walk in and get a rebound. We sprint in and get a rebound and we snatch it with two hands.
Yes, sir.
We do everything game-like,
Mm-hmm.
And, and sometimes the guys get a little, they get a little edgy about it. It's like, he's on me about everything. Yeah, I'm on you about everything because I'm trying to make the game easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make the game easy for you. If I'm on you right now and I'm pushing you now, the game's going to be easy, man.
Absolutely.
So that's what we do.
Coach, I could sit up here and you already know we've had long conversations, whether we're just talking about basketball or life in general.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that, you know, I definitely, you know, for everybody that's watching, I want you all to get behind Coach Alexander, because I'm telling you, I feel it in my gut that, you know, Clayton State is, when this thing turns around, whether it be this year or whatever the case may be, I really feel like you got something special going on down there. And, you know, like I said, I already respected you by seeing your practice, and I like what I saw. But as soon as I seen you out there on the recruiting trail in Atlanta, I was like, oh, yeah. And I said, yeah, we're going to have something here. We're definitely going to have something. And, man, you know, I just want everybody to get behind you, especially, can you give us the dates again for those 2 showcases, man?
Okay. November the 12th and 13th is a real big one here, and they're both held at Clayton State.
Okay.
It's going to be incredible, high-level Division II basketball. I mean, like, it's going to be great games. November the 12th and 13th, then November the 19th and 20th.
Okay.
And that's going to be, like, just in this area to have those teams, Division II teams in this area, right here in our area, in the Atlanta area, it's going to be amazing basketball. Like, you come out those 2 nights, you're going to get treated very well.
Oh yeah, and like I said, you know, we spoke about, I'm going to have our AAU kids down there, the ones that can make it. So set some room aside for us. We definitely will be there for that one. Definitely.
Well, we'll appreciate that. All you do, David, and your support. And, you know, to all those out there that's considering supporting us, we would love to have you support us. Love to come check us out. If you don't like when you come check it out, then you know what? It's okay. But at least come check us out and see what we have. We're developing great young men, good, you know, husbands and fathers, future husbands and fathers. And, you know, we're developing basketball players at the same time, teaching them the game of life through basketball. And, you know, I think we're going to be in for some good things here at Clayton State.
I couldn't agree with you more. But Coach Alexander, man, I thank you so much for coming on to the show. Man, you know, big things in store for Clayton State. And I think you're the person to definitely do that for that program. You know, like I said, I know we're going to have our little army of people coming down there, man. And, you know, I can't wait to work with you some more in the future, man. And thank you for coming on the show, okay?
Thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you in the future. And wish all the coaches on the call the very best this season. And all the ones that are listening, I wish you nothing but the best. And if we can help you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out to me here at Clayton State, Coach Alexander.
That one last thing before we let you go, because I always like to do this as well. Do you mind if they contact you on Twitter or any other way? What's the best way for them to contact you?
They can contact me on Twitter.
Okay.
You can do that. Mine is Vince EA, my first name, EA 7777. You'll see it. Vince EA 7777.
Gotcha.
And you know, if you go on the website, you can email me as well. So please contact me if I can help them in any way. I'll be glad to do that.
Absolutely, man. I just wanted to make sure, you know, that you're definitely available because, you know, Atlanta's going to hit you. The coaches are going to reach out to you. Absolutely. And, you know, again, thank you again for coming on to the show. I wouldn't mind with those 2 showcases, I wouldn't mind us possibly doing something together for that as well. Because, man, that Clark and Tuskegee one is going to be, that's going to be great. Yeah.
It's going to be real nice.
Exactly.
We can get together on that.
Definitely. We'll talk some more about that. I mean, I can't thank you enough for coming on to the show, but listen, you know this won't be your last time coming on here. Next time I'll probably bring you and Coach Anthony on here as well next time, man.
Yeah, get the young fella on here.
I sure will. Man,
he'll do a great job. He's going to do a great job.
Thank you so much, man. You have a good evening, man. And like I said, we'll definitely be in touch talking some more, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. You're welcome. Take care. I was Coach Alexander. Man, I'm telling you all, trust me on this one. He's going to have Clayton State ready to play. I can't tell you guys enough. From what I've seen, you just wait and see. I promise you, it's going to go down. As we wait for our next guest to come on, it's just one of those things where people, he comes from the Peach Belt, so he already knows what it is to know how to win at the Peach Belt at USC Aiken. And I'm hoping you guys understood, especially you players. Everybody's that D1 or bust. Please understand he sent 21 players overseas to play professional. You know what? Be confident when you're getting your little recruiting calls, and ask some of those D1 coaches how many players they've sent overseas. And just wait and see what the answer you get. Some of you all are going to be surprised, because it's not always about playing on ESPN, especially if you're not playing. But if you're able to play that long game and go to a Peach Belt school, and it's not just Coach Alexander. I mean, he does an awesome job. Understand, Augusta sends players overseas. Columbus State sends players overseas. All of them do, because it's one of the top D2 conferences in the country that can beat some D1 schools. So please understand that's what it is. And by understanding that, people, like I said, you'll see real quick and real soon what it is. While we're waiting on our next guest, I just wanted to give some love out because, Lord, these last 2 or 3 weekends, my frequent flyer miles are getting really nice. I've been to a couple of JUCO events. And when I say it was the real deal, I've been on the men's and women's side. Last night, I was in Carbondale, Illinois at the Midwest JUCO Showcase, and definitely a shout out to the tournament directors and to John A. Logan who hosted it. First of all, for you people that don't understand, just go to the top 25 JUCO rankings. They just came out today. John A. Logan was either 6th or 8th. They're the real deal. They're definitely the real deal. When I saw them, I left like, wow, they're really good. The day before that, I was in Orlando at the JUCO All-American Camp showcase, not the camp, the showcase that was ran by Scott Golden, who traditionally does a great job of having high-level post-grads and JUCOs at that event. There was close to 300 college coaches there. Let me repeat that, 300 college coaches. And the talent was amazing. You had Florida Southwestern. Shout out to Florida Southwestern, who is an excellent program. But I'm going to say this, definitely shout out to Atlanta basketball and Georgia basketball. The best game of the day was Georgia Highlands versus Florida Southwestern, who is ranked, I think, 8th or 12th in the top 25, and Georgia Highlands beat them by 3 points. When I say that game was high level, absolutely high level. There was probably at least, to be honest, at least 6 D1 prospects there. And as a matter of fact, one of the prospects from Florida Southwestern, the prospect Jonathan DeSantos, just committed to UTEP yesterday. When I was on the plane headed back to Atlanta, he went ahead and posted it, and then he let me know through Twitter. So, man, congratulations to you. Committing to UTEP, that's big time, man. And I can't say that it's enough. You said FSW's they're ranked 3rd. Jeez. Whew. Listen, Florida Southwestern they're that deal, and that says a lot right there with Florida Southwestern being 3rd and Georgia Highlands beating them. I mean, listen, Georgia Highlands plays incredibly hard. So all of you guys that think that it's going to be a walk in the park going to JUCO and you're going to put up 25 or 30, you are sadly mistaken. We have some of our best kids from Atlanta playing on some of these top JUCO teams. Some of them are not starting, and some of them are playing minute roles right now. And when you see some of these kids, you'd be like, wait, he was really good at this program, or wait, he was really good at that program. Well, that's what it is. This is another level of basketball. So some of those kids are freshmen, and they're adjusting to JUCO level basketball because these are grown men out there, and they are very good. And yes, Deshauna, Salt Lake's that real deal. Listen, I tell anybody, I seen Salt Lake in Florida, in Orlando on Saturday, and I saw him in Dallas last weekend. Salt Lake is led by the 6'8" phenom, Jaquan Scott. And when I say he is a monster, he is definitely a monster. So, let me let y'all, just let that soak in. He had high major offers, high majors. And, sis, I can't tell people enough. Don't think you come to JUCO and you're just going to be a prima donna, because you have some hungry kids that are ready to make it happen. So as we get ready for our next guest, he's getting ready to step on in one moment. As soon as he comes back from backstage, he had to step away for one quick second. We'll get it going. One last thing I want people to understand about JUCO as well. So I went to Oklahoma City first. I went to Corey Black's event in Atlanta first. Then I went to Oklahoma City the next day. Last week, I went to Dallas to Jerry Mullins' event. And then I went to, I came back and Corey Black had a women's JUCO event. I came back for that. And then this past weekend, I went to Orlando Saturday and then Carbondale, Illinois on Sunday. So fortunately, that whole JUCO list, I got to see every team except for the top 25, every team except for 2. And if you look at the teams that got votes, all of them except for 4 or 5 of them I got to see. And all of them have some dogs. And when I say they have some dogs where, listen, it's not where you just think you're going to come in and handle somebody. Like, you got guards that are incredible. You got wings that are 6'7", 6'8", that can jump out the gym. They can get to the rack. They can knock down the 3. They play D. And these coaches have high expectations of them. So those coaches aren't just, oh, you're the star, I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do. No, it doesn't work like that. It's one of those things where people have to understand, man, you're going to get coached hard. Like Coach Alexander said, you're going to get coached hard. And at the end of the day, like I said, you got a hungry player of sophomores that want to, they're trying to get to the next level. And now you got some hungry freshmen because they only got 2 years to make this happen. But we're going to talk some more about JUCO in the future. So we got our next guest that's ready to rock and roll. Man, my guy, I saw him at Corey Black's event. We got Coach Ryan Price from Southern University. How you doing today, Coach?
Man, I'm doing well, man. How about yourself, David?
I'm out here running. You know what it is. I'm out here running, Coach. I feel like I'm an assistant hitting the road. You know what I mean?
You've been on I know you've been on the radar. You've been on the go for sure, man, for the last several weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to connect. I know last week I think we were supposed to get on and just a lot of traveling, man. As soon as I get back from traveling, we're back on the road. I mean, we're back at home with practice. So it was a whirlwind last week for myself. So
man, I understand, man. I understand that whirlwind myself. Like, we seen each other in passing. I'm like, man, I'm gonna see you. And you're headed to your destination. I'm headed to mine. But man, thank you for coming on the show because I always like to show the HBCUs love, man. Especially out of the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, the SIAC, man. I like to show all them love, man, because you guys play a good brand of basketball there as well, man. And one of the things, like, that's why I was so big on getting you on the show. Atlanta knows you because, all the coaches know you, and that's how I got to know you anyway, because you're hitting the recruiting trails hard anyway. But, man, just tell us a little bit for the people that don't know about Southern, that are under a rock in Atlanta, because now that you're on the show, they're probably like, oh, I've seen that guy before. I saw him at McEachern, and I see him at one of the JUCO showcases. So tell us a little bit about Southern, man.
Southern University is probably one of the premier universities in the United States. And I won't even use the term historically black college. I think it's one of the top universities in the country regardless. Great academic piece. We've got a great engineering program.
Mhm.
We actually got 2 student athletes right now that are in the engineering program. Got a great nursing program. Got a great business program. We've got probably one of the premier law schools in all of the country. That several people from all across the country come to just for our law school. So those are some of the academic things that we definitely have a high mark in engineering. I would say ourselves, as well as another historically Black college, produced the most Black engineers in the United States as far as students. And so, if it's someone that has an interest in those fields, if it's engineering, nursing, business, you're talking about Southern. We're right there, the cream of the crop when it comes to that academically. And then, there's several things. I made a little post on Facebook today. Is our homecoming. So, our homecoming is one of it's one of the most elite homecomings in all the land. And it's a really good experience. You have this, I got into work today. They were already jamming in the Mini Dome, which is where we play our games, FG Clark Activity Center. They were already jamming in the Mini Dome. They had a gospel concert at 9 this morning on a Monday.
What?
for homecoming. So, I mean, there's different things. You got a comedy show. We had a comedy show last night. We have big concert on Thursday. And I'm getting up there in age now that like some of these artists and stuff, half of them I don't know unless my players tell me about them. And then we've got a Greek show on Friday, and of course you got other little things, pep rallies and day parties, and then a big game on Saturday. So there's a lot of
this is one of the biggest things, man.
Huh? I'm getting ready to get to it. I already know what you're about to say, but I'm already getting ready to get into it.
Go ahead.
The marching human jukebox.
Absolutely.
You about to bring up?
Oh, well, that, and there's one other thing as well you're missing, and I know you're gonna be like, the food.
Yeah, the food gets you a lot. So
the food is on point.
Yeah. So now the food is great down here. So I try to have me one little cheat day when it comes to tailgating and eating good food, period, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Man, is one of the, it's one of those things that, man, the food is an amazing thing. But no, I was going to bring up like our band. We got one of the premier bands in the United States. I tell people like, I've had arguments with people like, I have some family friends that are from like Ohio, and they talk about Ohio State. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I understand Ohio State has the premier band, but if you go pound for pound, they need to have a versus and do a versus. Ohio State band. I like that idea. Jukebox. Yep. So, but we had the best. We by far have the best band in all the land. And I mean, on the basketball side, we got great tradition. Several guys that have went pro, and I can honestly tell you, we've had more pros than some levels. Some other people, PWIs, Power 5 schools. We've produced more guys that have been drafted in the NBA. We've got 17 guys in our history that have been drafted in the NBA. And it's been several years since we've had someone in the NBA drafted. But we've had, we've got greats. We got Avery Johnson, of course, played for the San Antonio Spurs, coached the Dallas Mavericks, was the head coach of Alabama at one point. We had the legendary Bobby Fields, played for the Charlotte Hornets back in the day, who died tragically in a car wreck about 20 years ago. And then the guy that had all the records for the Chicago Bulls before MJ, before Michael Jordan, Bob Butterbean Love.
Oh, Bob, yeah.
Yep. So we've got a lot of tradition here at Southern on the basketball side. We've been to 13 NCAA tournaments, and we got 22 SWAC championships. So there's a lot of tradition. It is a lot of pride. The one thing that we run into out here, any place we go is we have alumni bases. In Atlanta, we have a humongous alumni base. Like, I went out there and I had people text me that I didn't even know. And they were like telling me about, you need to go to this gym, you need to go to that gym. I'm like, I'm one person. I can only go one place at a time. But it's amazing. The alumni base and the love that they have for our university is tremendous pride and excitement for Southern University.
So let me ask you this question as well. Now, you mentioned just the NBA. How many have you had that went overseas?
I couldn't tell you the total number of over the years, but I could tell you since 2011, we've probably had 14 guys that have gotten chances. So that's 14 guys in the last 10 years that have gotten chances to make money playing overseas.
Okay.
Right now, we probably, at the current moment, we got, I want to say 4 guys that are currently overseas right now. Mm-hmm. One of all-time greats, Malcolm Miller, finished in 2014. He's had a great career, like in Central America. He's in Brazil right now, actually, so he's in South America. Mm-hmm. But he's been overseas for 7 years. He's had a couple little stints in the G League, and we've produced quite a bit of guys that went over and played professional basketball and have done a remarkable job at that level. We're excited for those guys. But I know before 2011, I'm sure there were a ton of other guys that got stints overseas.
Gotcha. And man, as we know, especially now, don't y'all cut my head off for this one, but I'm only stating facts. Man, the SWAC conference is the premier HBCU conference now. Especially with the addition of FAM and Bethune-Cookman. I love y'all in the MEAC, but it just is what it is. The SWAC conference is the HBCU super conference. Would you agree with that, Coach Price?
Well, I don't want to draw any trucking blows with anybody, but I do think that our league has moved itself up. I think a lot of it has to do with the way things are being done as far as expansion. We added 2 really good programs from the MEAC in Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman, who I think will come in right away and help our league quite a bit from Jump Street. And, we've got good teams. We've got a lot of people that have went into the transfer portal. And I can honestly say, like, when I look at rosters in our league, like, everybody has gotten better probably this offseason because they've added guys from the transfer portal. And, I mean, it's not like you're just getting guys. You're getting guys that are coming from good programs that average 8, 9, 10 points per game. Mm-hmm. And, I think we got a good league. I think the MEAC is just as good. Obviously, they've taken a hit with some teams leaving their league, but I mean, they're really good basketball programs. You got
Norfolk State. We all know Norfolk State's a real deal.
Norfolk State, North Carolina Central always.
Oh yeah, Coach Mo.
Morgan State's on the come up. Mm-hmm. So there's different programs that I think are doing a good job in the MEAC. But our league, I think, is right now is doing really well because we've have expanded. I don't even think we're probably done expanding because of the way people are talking. Like there's going to be a couple more teams added to our league, and I think that might be the step that our league is talking about, is creating like a super HBCU league. So it would be exciting, to be honest with you, if we did have something where, you look at the old Big East or 14, 15 teams. Right now we're at 12, but we get to 14, 15 teams. You're talking about you're going to have some great rivalries, which we already have now. And I mean, you add like Florida A&M, I think that'll become a rival for a lot of people in our league. The same for Bethune-Cookman. So our league, I think, is really good. I think our league doesn't get the credit that it deserves because it's really good teams. And to be honest, we've had teams that have knocked off quote unquote bigger league schools in non-conference play in years past. So I think we have a good tradition in our league.
And I couldn't agree more. And like I said, now I'm not going to co-sign. You guys have a really good homecoming. I'm not going to say you all have the best one, but it's up there. But that food, now listen, that food is definitely top 2 or 3. Ain't no question about that. I'll definitely co-sign on that one. But I mean, you guys run a solid program in all seriousness, homecoming aside, because as well as I know, a lot of these homecomings are phenomenal. I mean, Howard's homecoming is phenomenal. Fam's homecoming is phenomenal. Southern's homecoming is, but shoot, Prairie View has a nice homecoming. And like I said, in Hampton as well. Definitely shout out to Hampton as well, because Hampton's the seafood one. Oh my gosh.
And I'll be honest with you, I grew up. I'm from Virginia, so I grew up. My hometown was an hour and 15 minutes from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
And so, like, I grew up every year in high school. I went to North Carolina A&T.
That's one I've never been to. I've never been to A&T.
A lot of tradition there. Yep, a lot of tradition. Yep.
I've been to the university. I just never been to their homecoming. My sister, she went to Hampton in Texas Southern. I've been to Hampton's. Their homecoming. Oh, that food! I was like, listen, this food is next level right here. I didn't get a chance when she was at Texas Southern to go to that one, but my understanding is they run a good one. But that Hampton and Howard one, that's something different right there. Totally different.
Everybody has good homecomings in HBCUs. I'm just a little bit, I'm a little bit biased, but I've been experiencing them for since 2011. So that's what I'm used to is that good old Southern homecoming.
Absolutely. Well, out there you all had that crawfish and those boils, right?
Yep. It's not quite crawfish season right now. Most people got that shrimp they're getting ready to put out there probably this weekend, and they like to boil those turkey necks and those neck bones and corn and potatoes and all that good stuff. So we'll have that out there this weekend, I'm sure.
Definitely. Hey man, let me touch on this since we getting off talking about that food. Look, I could have a food podcast.
No, I don't want to talk about food right now. My wife was getting ready to throw down here in a few minutes anyway.
Let me ask you this. So, man, what do you have coming this year? What's Southern looking like this year, man? What the roster looks like?
Well, I think we got a really good group. We've got a good balance. When I say that, we've got quite a few guys returning, and then we've got a good group of guys that are going to be new guys. And we went the route of transfer portal heavy, but we did get a couple of high school guys that I think will be good, especially down the line. And then we got a pretty good junior college player that's kind of flown a little bit under the radar. So I think we got a good group. Our leader, our top guy is Jaden Sattler, who is our point guard. He's a 4-year guy that, preseason they got him second team, first team, all conference. He comes into the season. Like I read something where he might be like one of the top 5 leading assist man returning in college basketball this year. So
Wow.
We're excited to have him back. He's been a starter since his freshman season. He comes from a good lineage of players in his family. He has 2 older brothers. One of his brothers is like one of the all-time leading scorers in Delaware history. And then his other brother, Tavon, who's an assistant at McNeese State now, has played at UNCG and then played at Nicholls State as well, and had a remarkable 4-year career at both places.
Okay. So you're expecting big things then.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I mean, he's the heartbeat of our program, and we've got several other guys. Asante Shivers, who averaged 11 a game 2 years ago and averaged 10.5 this past year. Mm-hmm. He tore his ACL middle part of last season, and COVID kind of messed things up for us. We were picked to be one of the better teams in the league last year, but we dealt with so many injuries. It was like one of the craziest things I think I've ever been a part of. We had probably 7 of our probably top 9 or 10 guys all had season-ending injuries at some point last season.
Man.
So we hobbled into the SWAC tournament, started 2 walk-ons. Our point guard was a walk-on who started in this last game of the season in the conference tournament, and he played 39 minutes. And I mean, he
39 minutes.
He played 39 minutes in that game. So, and we had a chance to win the game. We played Grambling, and Grambling had a good team, but we had our chances to win the basketball game, and we didn't capitalize on them towards the last probably 30 seconds of the basketball game.
Okay. So do you guys, and again, just like I asked Coach Alexander, I ask you as well, do you guys bring grad assistants back if they want, like, former players as grad assistants?
I mean, it's something that we haven't done in years past, but it's something that I think we're open to. And I always think, like, for us, like that's important. For me personally, I think it's important to give guys opportunities, because I always feel like everybody needs that opportunity at some point to get a start in coaching. I mean, so and it's a great learning lesson as a GA. My first job was as an assistant at the D2, so I didn't experience the GA life, but I learned a lot of things that GAs have to do, because I was the lowest guy on the totem pole, and I was only 22 years old when I got that job. So, I mean, I got paid, but it was, I had to do a lot of grunt work that
hustle and grind.
A lot of people don't realize you have to do, and I've stuck it out in this business. I'm going in my 15th year as a coach. Okay. And I went from washing laundry, drying laundry, practice gear, all that kind of stuff, to checking classes all day, to tutoring guys. Those were like little things that I had to do when I was a 22-year-old assistant coach. Okay. And it was something that was beneficial. And it taught me a lot, as well as I coached 2 years of high school basketball. So coaching high school, I tell people, and most people will understand, I know we got high school coaches in here, and Coach Washington, I believe already spoke, if he hasn't already, can tell you, like, you're a high school coach, you got to do everything. Mm-hmm. And that kind of makes me kind of be someone who doesn't feel like anything is beneath me and trying to go do. Yeah. So, the answer to go back, I kind of got off track a little bit, but GAs are important. I'll be honest with you, like, guys that we've had haven't really shown like that they really want to be coaches. We've had like one guy over the 10-year span that I've been here that was a former player and decided he wanted to go and be a coach.
Wow.
And nobody really has. They've decided that they wanted to get into the real world or still finish up their playing careers.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So what's your expectation? I just got 2 more questions for you. What's your expectation for this year's team, man?
Our expectation, to be honest with you, we want to win the SWAC championship. No, it's going to be tough, but I do think we have a lot of good pieces, and we've got a good nucleus of guys back. But that's our expectation. I don't think you go into the season, with anything else. I mean, at this point, this time of year, I think every program that's out there practicing has got one thing in mind, and that's winning a championship. So that's our expectation. I mean, we get after it pretty hard every day, and I think we got a good group that can help us get to that point. It's not going to be easy because we've got a lot of really good teams in our program in our league. You got the Texas Southerns, the Prairie Views, the Gramblins, the Jackson States, and we've got to be able to come to play. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, our expectation win a SWAC championship. So, and every day that's kind of that's part of our creed. When we break from practice, when we go into practice, when we leave practice, is win a SWAC championship.
Yeah, I mean, because Southern has that type of culture. You guys have that winning culture, and that which leads into my last question. And I'm kind of glad I saved this question for last. I see you all the time, so this isn't I see you on the recruiting trail doing what you need to do. So, man, when you're out there, and I want kids to hear this as well. When you're out there recruiting kids, what type of kid are you looking for, and what gets them written off your list?
Well, I would say what we look for high character kids. To be honest with you, I think that's half the battle when you're really trying to get kids that are doing good. We like winners. You know what? I always got to give a little spiel every so often. The kids. Like I went back to Virginia a few weeks ago, hometown, and I went and actually spoke to my old high school. My high school coach had me come in, and he's been doing it for a long time. But he had me go and talk to the team, and what I wanted to convey to them is that college coaches are looking for guys that are winners, that come from winning cultures in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you ask me, would I take player A that averaged 13 points a game and maybe 6 assists a game and was on a winning team that got to the semifinals or championships of the state championship game or state semifinals, or would I take player B that averaged 28 points a game, but that team only won 3 games? I'm going to take player A every day because I know what he's capable of doing. And I know he's got a winning mindset. Different than player B. You know what I'm saying? No, not
player B just going for his.
He's getting his, but he ain't helping the team win. And that's a big difference.
Yes, it is. Yes,
you know what I'm saying? That's a big difference. So we look at those things. You know what I'm saying? When I go to an event, if I go to a high school game or AAU jamboree, I watch how guys' body language is. When they go off the floor, how are they? You know what I'm saying? How are they on the bench? Are they on the bench rah, 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 cheering up their teammates? Those are all positive things. So we try to attend most of the time, and I think we did a good job this past recruiting class of getting guys that came from good winning cultures. We got 6 guys out of the portal. Okay. and we got 2 guys from Murray State. That explains it. They've been OVC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, they didn't have great roles the 1 year, but they were with Ja Morant.
Yeah.
And they won a game in the NCAA tournament. So they know what it takes to have success. We got another kid that came from Colorado State, PJ Bird, right? PJ was on his freshman year. He was at VCU. They went to the NCAA tournament. Last year, he's at Colorado State. Or I'm sorry, the last 2 years, he was at Colorado State. Last year, they made it to the NIT Final Four. He was a backup point guard. Okay. We had another kid, Damian Sears. He was at Nicholls State last year. They won the Southland. Tyrone Lyons came from North Carolina A&T. They won the MEAC regular season last year. You know what I'm saying? So I just named 5 guys that have some form of winning a championship. 4 of those 5 have won a regular season conference championship in college basketball, Division I college basketball. So that says a lot. We got 2 high school kids. One of them lost in the state championship game last year by 1 point. Wow. And then we had another kid that lost in the state semifinals. So those things right there tell you enough. That tells you that guys know what it takes to win.
And that's exactly what you're looking for. And Coach Price, listen, man, just like when we were at the showcase, man, I could technically have you for the whole podcast, because there's so many things we could talk about. Just like when we're just sitting there, we're talking, but we're also looking at kids. I'm asking your opinion, you're asking what I think of this kid, and 20 minutes turns to 35, 40, 50 minutes, because not only we're talking basketball, but we're both passionate about it. And I always like to get your objective on things, because I know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And I always like to hear if it matches what I'm thinking, or for whatever reason you say something different. Some of the people gonna give you a hard time. They talking Jackson State gonna be they're gonna be the repeats this year.
Well, they got a good team, man. To be honest, they really do got a good team. So
I got you.
I'm not giving no. Most people that know me will tell you I don't give like. I ain't going to sit there and get a politically correct deal. They got a good team. And them in Prairie View, it leads through them in our league, because they both won the regular season championship last year. They were co-champions. So, we got to come with it. It's a good team. Jackson got a good team.
Absolutely. Hey, man, this is a long time coming, man.
I appreciate you.
To get you on the show, man. I don't have to introduce you to Atlanta, because the vast majority of coaches know who you are, and they all speak highly of you anyway, man. And, you just the overall good dude, man. I always like to have those type of people in my network, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you coming on, man. Definitely.
Man, I appreciate that, man. It's funny, man. I really haven't done much. I won't say I haven't done much, but I've recruited in Atlanta over the last several years, and I have gotten several kids, but not until recently have I really tried to make a conscious effort of getting out there several times during the year. So I'm pretty excited about it, man, and I look to continue to build relationships and all that good stuff out there.
Well, George is coming on after you, so you definitely need to holler at George. He got some killers.
Yeah. I think Coach Washington. I got to get in touch with Coach Washington.
You do. You definitely do. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna get at you because I'm actually coming out there. Houston's having an event, and I wanted to make it out there because I wanted to see this kid from Concordia Lutheran. So. Okay. I'm gonna get at you on that one, man. But we'll be talking about that because we ask each other about players all the time anyway, man. And man, I can't thank you enough, brother. We'll be in touch, man. Definitely, okay?
Man, appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, David. I appreciate it a ton.
Anytime, man. You take care, man.
All right, you too, man.
All right. That's Coach Price, man. That's my guy right there, man. I bump into him at least 2-3 times a year at events because he putting in that work. And, you know, that's what it takes to make your program a winning program. Now that we're speaking about winning programs, last but not least, to me, one of the top 3 or 4 high school coaches in the Atlanta area. I know y'all saw some clipboard material for you guys, but year in and year out, he does a phenomenal job, and definitely a good guy as well. Another good one to have in your network is Coach George Washington from Pebblebrook High School. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well. Glad to be on. Thank you guys for having me. Hold up. Tell Coach Price he has not called me back yet about Kamai or now Hillman. I'm on him. And tell the coach from Clayton State he has not been to Pebblebrook for the live session. I'm on him. Okay. All right, that's it.
I'm sure Coach Alexander, and listen, you see Coach Price is like, yeah, I need to call George, you know what I'm saying? So you already know. But, man, all jokes aside, man, we're just going to get right into this because, man, you know, unfortunately sometimes – and it's no secret, sometimes AAU coaches have beef with high school coaches and vice versa. Brother, for you, that's not the case because you're always at AAU events supporting your kids. And, you know, and that's one thing I always, you know, respected about you, man, because you had your kids' best interests at heart. And, you know, to me, if there was more George Washingtons out there that was in it for the betterment of the kids, we already have a great thing here going in Atlanta, but it would be even stronger. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's why, you know, before I even met you, and I want to say this jokingly, you remember you were my first interview 2-3 years ago. Man, I remember how nervous I was to do that, man. And, you know, it's been a long time coming, but, man, like I said, just watching your program, and it's not, for me, it's not even evolved because 2-3 years ago, you were already there, you know what I'm saying? But just to see how you do this year in and year out, man, to me, this is the blueprint of, hey, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Hey, listen, man, when you're interviewing a legend and that's your first interview, man, hey, what?
No, you shouldn't be nervous unless you're interviewing Larry Thompson, Sherman White, those guys. Them the guys I get nervous with them guys. So you definitely don't get nervous with me.
George, listen, man. You right there, brother. You right there. And I love Larry. I love Sherm. Those are all, but man, listen, when it comes down to that Elite Eight or Final Four, Pebblebrook's name is getting mentioned, plain and simple. And that's because of the culture you produced over there, man. So, yes, Larry does a phenomenal job. Yeah, Larry's our Dean Smith, you know, but I'd like to say George Washington is right there. George Washington's our John Chaney. He's our John Chaney. That's the way I look at it, man. Good. Yeah, I mean, because you're fiery. And that's why I say you're a John Chaney type. But, man, you know.
We might throw a chair or two.
No, we can't have you doing that. But listen, in all seriousness, man, I mean, we need guys like you, man, because, you know, even from the AAU perspective, man, we need guys like you that work with AAU coaches because at the end of the day, when you have AAU coaches working with high school coaches, man, that's making that kid 100% better instead of saying, nah, don't go to that AAU program because it's high school time. Or vice versa, AAU coaches are saying, don't go to that high school because it's all about us. It's not about either one of us. It's about that kid, man. And, man, that's why I said, you know, when Dre first raved about you, and I was like, okay, let me see what this guy's about. Let me just watch, not even say anything. And once I watched, I was like, oh, yeah, that's one I wanted to get to know, man. And just, is that you or me?
That's me.
Okay. And so, you know, it's just one of those things, Coach, like to see what you've done with a Danny Stubb and Jamal Kleiss and, you know, and of course with a Colin Sexton and scores of others, man. I mean, it speaks to what you're doing, man. You are killing it over there. You know what I mean?
Well, for us, first and foremost, it's about the kids. It's about the kids and the kids only. And our job each and every day is to get the kids better And that's our goal every day, is get the kids better. We tell the kids we got to get better each and every day. That's why we work so hard. That's why we tell the guys every day, we want pit bulls and Rottweilers. If you're not a pit bull or a Rottweiler, you can't come in this den, because that's all we want here. So the kids have embraced that. We play hard, and we just like to have a lot of fun. What people don't see is the fun side of what we do at Pebblebrook. One year we took the guys fishing. One year we took them horseback riding. If you see some of these guys get on the horse and ride the horse, it was funny. I'm from the country, so for me, that's normal stuff. We took them ATV in. So we've done a variety of things outside. Karaoke one night, that was fun. So we just try to do some fun stuff also, along with the hard work they put in to offset it. So we just work really hard. When it comes to AAU coaches, I try to build a relationship with them. The goal is at the end for that kid to get a scholarship somewhere. So in order for that kid to get a scholarship, that kid has to play well on the AAU circuit. Then that kid has to do well on the high school circuit.
Absolutely.
So in order for that kid to do well on both circuits, we have to be working together. So for me, when it's AAU season, I'm front and center. I'm cheering. That's the time I get to heckle the kids, have fun, heckle the coach. Hey, coach, remember in November when I made that bad call down there, you got one too. So for me, that's what that AAU season is about. So I have a lot of fun during the AAU season. I just go to all the events, cheer the guys on, but I'm also at the AAU event advertising my kids. I'm sitting in the coaches section and I'm telling the coach, hey, check this guy out. Watch this. Hey, this is what we've been working on. This is some things that he's been improving on. So for me, it's a chance to politic and say, hey, come down here and look at this kid. Watch my kid play. And not just my kid, other kids too. I like a lot of the kids here in the state of Georgia. So I'm rooting for a lot of the other kids. And I'm telling coach, hey, go check this kid out. If you don't want my kid, take this kid. I want a Georgia kid to get that scholarship. So for me, it's about all the kids in the state of Georgia. And I love all the kids in Georgia. Now, when it's time to play them, hey, if you're not a pit bull or a Rottweiler, you're in trouble.
No question. And man, what you're saying, like I said earlier, man, you're giving the blueprint of the way it should be done, man. And all that other, politics, about who's winning. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Like you said, yeah, everybody wants to win. Don't get me wrong. But the biggest win, and you've been winning for a minute, is seeing these kids go to college, man. And like I said, you're at these events and at AAU events, and you're in the coaches section. You're putting in that work, man. Like, hey, take a look at my kid. Hey, because just like you said, some of those coaches are saying, well, coach, I need this year. Who do you think is this in Georgia this year? And with you being in the know in Georgia, you're going to say, hey, take a look at Wheeler, or take a look at Norcross, or whoever.
Now, Eagles Landing, go to Newton County.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly,
it's about Georgia basketball first and foremost. If Pebblebrook does well, Georgia looks well. So when all of us go out of state and play, I'm rooting for everybody to win when we go out of state and play. When Milton won beach ball, I was happy. When Wheeler won the event up in DC a couple of years ago, I was happy. We was rooting for each other. Will and I flew up together, and we was cheering for each other. And we came back home. Hey, it was war at the Civic Center, but
no doubt,
we're gonna root for each other when we're playing out of state and we playing those out of state teams. We're gonna root for each other. I'm cheering for them.
And now the other thing, I love Pebblebrook's atmosphere on some of them Friday night home games. Boy, it get live over there. It get real live.
It's just wait November 9th. We get to have everybody back in the gym. The band's gonna be here. You talk about the swag. Come on, we got the best, hands down. We have the best band in the state of Georgia. The Mighty Marching Machine. Come on, just wait.
All right, George. All right, don't make me clip this.
We coming out to the band and Lil Yachty. That's it. I'm telling you now. Get the tickets ready. I'm charging more for that game because Lil Yachty gonna bring us out with the band. So get ready.
Now listen. Now you can't charge Locke now.
Man, well, let me say this. Locke, he done stood me up a couple times, so he going to pay.
He going to pay.
He got to pay. I've been seeing Bryce doing some workout videos. I don't know what's going on with Bryce right now. He going to pay. Only person I'm letting in is Drake. Drake get in for free. And Dave, you come up, Dave, you can get in for free. The other two guys, they're going to pay.
Okay. Hey, listen, I'm sure they're watching. If not, I'll clip this and let them know. Hey, get your money ready.
I'll get a text message.
You already know. But man, like I said, let's move on to one of the bigger things, man. What bro, it's about time you got some love on that face card because we didn't have to pay at many events, bro. Many of them.
They know they don't pay when they come to the Brook.
Let me ask you this. So, you had a phenomenal team last year, man. What do you got coming this year, man?
This team, so each team reminds me of a team that I've coached previous. So this team reminds me a lot of the team that had Dwight Murray, Mervin James, Josh Graham, Grant Howard, and Jalen Harper. We had 5 guys that could score the basketball, 5 guys that love to defend, 5 guys that love to rebound, and 5 guys that love to play for each other. Mm-hmm. We lost the first 2 games at Hoopsgiving, and that team ran off 27 games in a row that year. Everybody picked us to be the worst team in the state because Colin Sexton had just graduated and he'd gone on, and they had picked us to be horrible. But that team played with a chip on their shoulder all year, and that team played for each other all year.
That team went to the state finals, right?
We went to the Elite Eight. We lost in the Elite Eight because children make mistakes in life.
I got you.
And, we remind them of the mistakes they made all the time, but we're hoping that mistake that individual made isn't made again, and they grow from that mistake. And that individual has grown from that mistake and done everything the right way so far. So I can live with that mistake if that mistake is going to render success for that kid later on. So I'm okay with that. We struggled with it for a while, but because I believe that team would have won a state championship. The teams that we lost to in the state playoffs, we beat them by 20 early in the year, but we had a player there that could play it and had a role, and it was a lead on that team. And kid makes mistakes. So when kids make mistakes, you have to punish them, and you have to realize, hey, it's going to be the betterment for that child later on. And he's doing very well right now in college. Had a great year last year and should have a great year this year. So we learn from those mistakes as coaches, and players learn from that mistakes. But we remind them every time he come back home and work out, hey, man, we should have had a banner up here because of you. Just a FYI. But this team reminds me of that team. We're not ultra big, but we're really fast. They play together. We're going to defend 94 feet this year. We're going to play a little different style than last year. We're going to go back to a style from a couple years ago. Last year, I was kind of big. I couldn't play, super fast, and couldn't play 94 feet because those guys were long and tall. So we
I was about to say, but hold on, man.
And we're going to play fast. But we didn't
play. Say the team you had last year, man. You had 3 D1s on there, man. Come on.
But we had 4D1, but we didn't play as fast as I want to play. This year, I'm telling you now, we're going to play fast. We're going to shoot a lot of threes, and we're going to defend. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. If you came to the summer event up at Lake Point, that's how we played this summer. We played fast. We defended.
George, side note on that, George. Man, I got to give you and the rest of the coaches credit for what was done for GHSA this past summer, man. That was amazing at Lake Point, bro.
Oh yeah, that was nice. Let me say this: there are some coaches in the state of Georgia that do a lot of great things to advocate for Georgia basketball. You think about the shot clock. Coach Welsh over at Langston Hughes, he is the guy behind the shot clock. It ain't gonna make me no difference because we're gonna play fast. Whole thing is gonna do the shot clock now is gonna change how you defend that time. So you got to figure out is a team going to be an early shot clock team, middle shot clock team, or late shot clock team. And so the goal is now to defend for 35 seconds and get a rebound. If you can't get a rebound, you're in trouble because now you're going to defend another 35 seconds, possibly depending on their playing style. So now it's going to be scouting to figure out what the playing style of a particular coach is. Is he late shot clock, early shot clock? So for me, it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick, early in the shot clock. Just for you. You guys can know that. I don't care. We're going to shoot it quick, a lot of threes, a lot of quick hitters. So that's how we're going to play. So I think that. But let me ask y'all this. And I know I'm changing the subject. The landscape of high school basketball has taken a major change this year. And when I say that, when you see overtime open up, when you see
the elite prep teams,
I don't think over the next 5 to 6 years, probably the next 5 years, a traditional high school coach probably will not have a 5-star on their roster and maybe a 4-star. Because if I'm a 5-star kid, let's just be honest, am I turning down $400,000 for my child?
Well, no, but my answer to that is unless he's a late bloomer, George. And I think because you're a skill developer, and because you're a skill developer, you know, sometimes kids take to 11th and 12th.
But those kids won't be a 5-star coming into the 11th grade year going into
No. Yeah, that's the only. But to answer your question, yes, that's the only way. All these kids that are 9th and 10th, I think you're right. I mean, the type
we
of
won't
money
have those
in,
kids. We won't have those kids.
Let's think about it like this now, George. Just this year, Atlanta has been pillaged.
That's what I'm saying. So, as a traditional high school coach, we're in trouble in regards to us coaching those high-level kids still, because there's a great opportunity for them to go to an elite prep school or go to overtime and get paid. Now, the question is, with the NLI, does a kid make more money going to college with the NLI money, or does that kid take a chance on going to overtime?
It depends on where you go. If you go to an SEC school, you're going to get your money.
Well, it depends on, but I think it depends on when the NLI money. I think it depends on how good of a job you've done marketing. Now, Colin and I was having a conversation a couple weeks ago, and our conversation went like this. Hey, I would be probably, if not richer in high school and college than I am right now, possibly, if the NLI was in effect when he came out.
Oh, absolutely.
The t-shirt sales that we had going on,
yeah,
the signs, the polos, the hoodies, and all that got shut down as soon as he signed with Alabama. As soon as he signed his letter to go to college, sales was cut off. Instantly.
Okay, so before you could take another step forward, for my people in Ohio that don't know, this is Colin Sexton's high school coach. So let me go ahead, because we have people in Ohio watching the show. So this is Colin Sexton's high school coach. And yes, you're from, it's funny you're even bringing this up, because Madre mentioned this earlier. From the time Colin Sexton played that Hoopsgiving tournament game in front of a packed house isn't even a good word. That is not even a good description.
I almost got a technical foul because a little kid was sitting in between our bench, and he was yelling at the ref because the ref called a foul on Colin, and the ref turned around and teed me up, and I was like, "Yo, it's not me, it's nobody from our bench. He's a fan." But the crowd there was crazy. Like, I still get goosebumps when we watch the film of that game.
Yeah, like when people look at that on YouTube to even see how, I mean, Hoopsgiving almost owes you guys. That was really the birth of Hoopsgiving taking off to another level. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, it's been Hoopsgiving. Now everybody knows Hoopsgiving in Atlanta, yes. But when Colin played that game right there, next level. Completely. Yeah. Like, when I even peek at that on YouTube still, you'd be like, man, that was insane.
You get goosebumps, man. That was crazy. Man, they just kept rolling 6'8", 6'9" off the bench, and I'm like, yo, here goes another 6'9" guy. Here's another 6'9" guy. Do you realize everybody from their roster went Division I? I'm talking about every player from that IMG roster. Every player.
Yeah, IMG, I mean,
every player.
IMG is IMG for a reason. And like you said, to your point previously, like when you're 4-star or 5-star, like, you know, Ja'Kai Howard, we knew that was only a matter of time. Cohen Carr, we knew that was a matter of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just think we have to do a better job of educating those families in making the right decision for their child and for their family. I tell families this all the time. Mm-hmm. Number one, I believe every family should get to enjoy their child's senior year of high school. That's something special. You should be able to see your child play every game their senior year of high school. So when we travel, I make sure that my parents get the same accommodations we do, same pricing, everything, so they get to experience their senior year of high school. It's nothing like your senior year of high school, whether you're playing, whether you're not playing, no matter what the experience is, it's nothing like your senior year of high school for your parents to enjoy that moment. So I always encourage parents when making those decisions, this is the last time that you'll really get to have a lot of say-so in what your child does and how your child interact with people and do different things. So, because when you go to college, the schedule made by a college coach. They make the schedule. So you're not showing up, dictating the schedule, anything like that. So this is the last time as a parent, you get a lot of say-so in a situation as it regards to your child. So I always encourage parents when making a decision to go somewhere, make sure that you're a part of that process, not a handler, not a yes man, none of those people. Make sure you're a part of that process and make sure you're educated in the process. Because I'm a little nervous about a couple of guys that left the state of Georgia. I really am, because I really want the kids to be done the right way. And I'm really big on kids staying close to a geographic area, because if you stay in a geographic area, those coaches can't mistreat you, even when going to college.
I agree.
I encourage guys to stay in a geographic area that's close to them, because those coaches have to come back and recruit this area.
Absolutely.
So if you mistreat a kid, we gonna let you know. You can't roll back in this state like that. We got people. Hey, my guy Dez, Mark Edwards, them guys gonna make sure people know if you mistreat some of our kids. So you may not get it from me. I'm just gonna give you the cold shoulder, but they gonna verbalize it in a way that you know that you've mistreated a Georgia kid. So I really try to tell people stay geographically in close to where they are, so that when something does happen, you can always rely back on all these resources in Atlanta to help you out. Also, I think it's really important. Family is big. Family is really big. And I think family should be an integral part of your college and your high school life. I think I encourage my parents to go spend Sunday with their kids. Go have dinner with your kids on Sunday. That's important. No matter how old, go spend Sunday with your kids when they're in college. So I really push my guys being closer to their parents, so that college, when it gets rough, when it gets tough, and it's gonna get rough and tough, I promise you.
Yes, it is.
Mom and dad need to be able to drive and say, you know what, this is what coach really meant. And you can have dinner and talk it over, and then you can send him back on his way to be a young man.
Yeah.
But when they 2,000 miles away, ain't no going back. Hey, them flights ain't cheap no more.
At all.
That's just my big spiel on that. And that's how we handle recruitment at Perrelbrook when guys are recruiting our kids. And the IMGs, they've called about Colin, Jared, a variety of our guys they've called about over the years. So, that's what I told the parents. And, it's up to the parents to make a decision that's going to benefit their kid and their family.
But here's my thing. And, since you asked that question, that question has parts to it as well. George, there's some kids where it's a financial situation for the family. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that may lead to them not making the best decision, as you said, because they got to do what they got to do to make sure their family is okay, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Well, don't rush to the money. People always told me fast money and always good money.
Absolutely. But when the lights is out, George, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let's keep it 100.
Okay.
Ain't no 5-star lights gonna be out.
I'm not gonna touch that.
Let's just be 100 now. Ain't no 5-star, maybe a 2-star, but ain't no 5-star lights out. Not if you're 5. Not if you're 5. Okay. So let's just be 100 right there. You read between the lines, but ain't no 5-star. But I just tell people don't rush to the money. Sometimes people are rushing to the money.
Your money's gonna be there. But George, like you said, the NLI changes everything now. You know what I'm saying? It changes everything, because now they can get that money, and now that they can get that money, like you said, with the way things are now, Colin could have got some of that T-shirt money, right?
All the T-shirt money. Dude, man, they couldn't print enough T-shirts. The orders was coming in so fast, couldn't print enough. Couldn't
That's
print
what I'm
enough
saying,
for nothing.
man. Like,
Nothing. When I say couldn't
oh
print
my
enough,
gosh, like from again, like even to this day, man, it's still crazy how people still talk about that event, man. Like I said, to be honest, Hoops Giving need to give y'all some change on that one, man. Because like I said, that took Hoops Giving to that level. Now, yes, it was great marketing to put Colin against IMG, absolutely. But nobody knew that that was going to be the result of that years later. You know what I mean? Nobody knew that.
well, we knew it was going to be a great game.
Oh, well, everybody knew that. Yes.
We just didn't know it was going to be that crazy. The atmosphere was great. And I'll say, I give Chris a lot of credit. Chris does a great job with scheduling Hoops Giving.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's one of the premier events in the country. Like, we won't go nowhere else during Thanksgiving.
For what?
We're going to stay home. We go there. Dez does a great job. All the guys, Sean Williams, all the high school events in Georgia are great.
Are top notch.
Top notch. Like, and then, we're going to support. Like, I mean, we're going to support all of them. I played 5 games at home this year, unfortunately, because we had every showcase in Atlanta this year. But
okay. So is it either that or is it get your kids exposure? Because all them showcases got what you looking for. It got coaches, right?
Yeah, it's got no sleep for me either. Somebody's not sleeping over here.
But that's what I'm saying, George. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
but that's what we do it for.
Yeah.
That's what we do it for. I mean, we do it. You play those games, and I tell our kids before every game, you either gonna give a scholarship or you gonna get a scholarship tonight. Which one are you? Because I ain't in the mood of giving anything. I'm all about getting when it comes to this thing. So
yeah,
you decide how you play tonight. The guy that's guarding you, he's either gonna get a scholarship or you're gonna give him one of the two. So we're not Mm-mm. So we play every showcase. We're gonna line up against anybody, everybody. We don't care. And that's just how we build.
But George, that gets y'all ready for March.
They get us ready for absolutely. Because you play those games, it's different styles of basketball. Officiating is different. Because when you get to the state playoffs, you get a 3-man crew that's never worked together.
Exactly.
So you got to figure out how to navigate through those playoff games when the officiating is not what you're used to seeing. Especially when you get official from South Georgia, Middle Georgia, and Atlanta area. Them 3 guys have seen 3 different brands of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So their eyes are a little different. They don't really get on the same page to the second half. And then you see teams play at a different pace and different level then.
Absolutely. Man, like I said, George, unfortunately, I'm glad you went last. That's number one. I would have had some mad people if you'd have went first. Because to be honest, when we talk basketball, I know I can make an easy show off of so many topics with you, man. Even from who's the best team to Georgia basketball to
Newton County is the best team in the state of Georgia. Let's put that down now. Newton County, any classification, Newton County is the best team in the state of Georgia.
And you stand by that?
Stamp. They got a player at every position.
Okay.
They're bigger, they're faster, they're a year smarter. We got them last year, they were sophomores. So I know
they're juniors. Yeah.
Now they're juniors. So when I first started at Pebblebrook, we were a young team my first year, 11 years ago. I played 4 ninth graders and a couple seniors that hadn't played a lot of basketball. So our goal was to get to our junior year because all the guys that beat us, they were graduating. And we were going to be the juniors and seniors. So now Newton County is the junior and senior team. And they're all juniors. And they are good. Real good.
Oh, no question. They're good. So you're telling me, and let's just get it out there, Newton County will beat Milton and Wheeler.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just asking. I'm not debating.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Yeah,
Why?
absolutely.
Why so?
All right. So high school game is predicated on guard play.
Yes,
If you
absolutely.
have two good guards, you can win 95% of your games on any given night. Newton
Okay.
has 3 good guards, maybe 4,
Okay.
that can play any position and can score the basketball anytime. Now, I predicate scoring. I tell people now, you got to be able to score the basketball. People can yell defense win championships. I've lost all my games off of scoring. So the games I lost, we didn't score enough points.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you got to score some points. So for me, when you look at Newton County, they have Jakai Newton, who did not play very many games last year down the stretch.
Yeah.
Prolific scorer. You have Castle, big time guard, big
time
do a
guard.
variety of things, big time guard. All right.
Yep.
You got the lefty kid that I love, unsung hero to me. I can't think of his name right now.
Marquavis?
Marquavis. Oh, all dog, pit bull, rock.
Yeah.
All right. Then now you go add a Pounds, who's going to give them what they didn't have on the inside the previous year.
Yeah.
Then you got the other kid that showed up from South Carolina.
I haven't heard. You have to tell me. You have to educate me on that. I've heard, but I don't know. What's the deal with him?
He's good. He's
Okay.
real good. He's real good. So
Okay.
it's not going to be any fall off with them losing TJ Clark. I mean, TJ Clark was a really good guy for them, but it's no fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing he got to figure out is there enough basketballs for all those guys, and all those guys going to remain humble and hungry throughout the year and be okay with one guy having a limelight one night, another guy having a limelight the other night. That's the
Where did
number one.
TJ go, George?
He went to overtime.
Wow.
Overtime
Okay.
elite.
Okay.
So, that's what he's going to manage. Is just making sure everybody ego stay, hey, here's our goal, and let's reach our goal. But yeah, they can beat anybody in the state. They got size, they got guard play, they're athletic. And if you've seen their bodies lately, oh my God, I tell my guys every day, we got to get our bodies to look like that. So I've been going to the gym. Man.
Hey man. So with that being said, I got an interesting question for you. Well, given the state we have right now, if we can keep what we have right now going into team camp next year, man, I think team camp would be even better next year, man.
Oh, absolutely. Georgia basketball get better than every year. Kids are more developed. Kids are bigger, faster, stronger, more skilled. The trainers in Georgia are elite. Like I tell people, hands down, you're not going to find very many guys that train at the level that the trainers train at in Georgia.
Absolutely.
And the consistency they have. When you look at a Nick Stapleton, you look at a Rob, you look at a Dez. I'm missing a few guys, but those are the ones I know for sure are really good at what they're doing, they craft. And you really have to understand how they affect programs and how they affect kids. All 3 of those guys have had a huge effect on my program, and pretty much all Double Trouble twins have had a lot of effect on a lot of major programs in Georgia. So as high school coaches, we can't say, oh, I built this. No, I didn't build this. I had a lot of guys surrounding me that helped me do this. Nick was here. Rob was here. Dez came by and gave me instructions. So all those guys have put into our program. So that's why we are who we are. And that's why our kids are at a level they are. So now when I'm looking at 24 and 25 kids, they're even better skill-wise and smarter than the 22s and the 23s at about.
Because they've been getting that elite training since like 5th and 6th grade, man.
It's great. Yeah. So
even like Bo and Swain, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So you have those guys doing a really good job.
Yeah. I mean, it's so many, like you said, there's so many. And listen, don't y'all text me tonight talking about you ain't mentioned me, because there's so many. I mean, you know that as well, man. It's elite level training. I mean, on each side of town, to be honest with you.
And then I like when Dez get them all together. That year they all got together for 2 years and did some stuff. That was beautiful. To me, that was beautiful. I sat over there and I had a blast sitting in that gym watching them guys work. It was beautiful to see all those guys come together, and that's the difference in Georgia basketball than
Absolutely.
DC. I think DC is a tad bit ahead of us, just a tad bit, but that's the difference between the DC and Atlanta, because Atlanta guys, we all get together. You don't mess with us. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Yeah.
And that's what I love right there.
Yeah. Now, somebody just asked a good question, George. They said, why are Atlanta public schools teams not that good? Seems like all the teams that are good are in the outskirts and not the city of Atlanta.
You want me to give a real answer to that?
Yeah, of course, man. Come on, man. No holds barred.
So, truth be told, here's the truth from Coach Washington. Number one, the teams on the outskirts of the city are willing to play a schedule that is not limited to the city. Kids want exposure, just like AAU. Kids want exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And kids, parents, they want an opportunity to play on that big stage as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the Atlanta public schools, very few of them are in the major showcases. Very few of them travel outside of Georgia. And very few of them, I think, invest in their programs the way that the Cobb County schools, the Gwinnett County schools, and some of the other school districts that really invest in basketball. Cobb County schools have made a really investment in basketball. All our schools are getting new gyms that hold 3,600 people. We're in the process of getting a new gym. That's an investment into your programs. They allow us to travel. It's no travel restrictions. We going to Vegas to the Tart Classic in December.
Are you going to Vegas?
Yeah, we going to Tart Classic.
Hey, so I'm gonna give you my age on this one, George. I was fortunate to go to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
My senior year, I went. Larry Johnson and them were there.
Woo, running Rebels.
Oh man, I still talk about that to this day, man. To this day,
that's
like to go to Vegas. You know, I wish every kid could experience that, man. Because first of all, like we all say, you know, we could be the king of Atlanta, but when you see some of these other teams, and now that you have the internet and all that, now kids are more familiar with kids.
Hey, it don't matter till you lace them up.
Absolutely,
it don't matter till you lace them up. When you go to West Coast, I go to West Coast almost every other year to play. Mm-hmm. We've done the Under Armour Classic, we've done the Torrey Pines, we've done Max Preps. So we go out to the West Coast a lot, and when we go out there, you got to go out early to get used to the time zone, but then you got to get used to the style of play. Their style of play is different than ours, and they've had the shot clock for years.
Yes, they have.
So for us going out there for the past 4 or 5 years, we had to make an adjustment. We had to practice with a shot clock, give those code words when the shot clock is running down, so you have code words for kids to know when to shoot, when to attack the basket. So for us, it's been a learning experience going out to the West Coast and playing in those hostile environments. They don't like us because we're from Georgia. So every game you played was hostile. And I really enjoyed it. The kids enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. And the fans are great. The fans love you. Win or lose, they love you. So it's a great experience for your kids to travel. That's what the Atlanta public schools need to do. Allow their teams to travel a little bit more. And that'll get the kids to stay at home. For us.
Absolutely. Well, and Cal, there's no argument on that. Yes, Chicago Public League has traditionally been a power. That's no argument whatsoever.
I'll tell you what.
What's that?
They traditionally pass. I don't think they can play with Georgia over the last 2-3. I'll say the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think they can play with Georgia.
Now, hence he said publicly, George. So
I'm gonna go with the public league. The Georgia public schools, the Willers, the Miltons, the Norcross.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
They don't have enough to play with us. Like, I mean, they may get a game. They may be one of us, but they not beating all of us. If they came to Atlanta, tell them to come to Atlanta and play 1 year, and we'll go to Chicago and play 1 year. Now, we're not going to play all the series in Chicago because we know what that's going to be.
But so it's funny you said that, man. I wanted to bring this up. What would you think, and even though this isn't high school, what would you think of an Atlanta, DC type style event like that?
Let's get it.
For AAU.
Let's get it. Now I'm gonna say this: DCA, Georgia got to do a better job. AAU, we can't keep letting all our top players go play for the Florida teams, the Tennessee teams, the North Carolina teams, the CP3s. When I looked at AAU this summer, I was a little frustrated that a lot of our Georgia kids was on other rosters and not on the Georgia teams. We got to do a better job of that. We got to support each other, and we got to do right by each other. So
I agree with that. But George, you said it earlier. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But okay, we got a couple shoe teams here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're to the point now, George. Everybody can't play for those shoe teams.
No. I'm specifically talking about the shoe team guys first and foremost. Now, the non-shoe teams, like I'll use Georgia Legacy for an example. They played anybody and everybody. Core 4 played anybody and everybody. AJ Boye played anybody and everybody. So the non-shoe teams do a really good job. And I always commend those guys. And they always have a hidden gem. Like they have a player that you want to watch, that you want on your team.
Yeah.
And those teams are really, really good to watch. But I'm talking about the upper echelon right now. Like, there's no reason why the Georgia Stars is not competing to be a Peace Jam when I saw Knight Riders, I saw CP3,
I see what you're saying.
I saw Team Thad, and I saw the Team United with Georgia kids on it.
With Georgia kids. I see what you're saying.
Hey, John, I saw your comment. No Atlanta team is better than Team Takeover. I'm gonna say that's facts. Team Takeover bad.
They are.
They got pit bulls and Rottweilers.
Listen, I was hoping you didn't take that one there because I was like, oh, that team is different.
Hey, that team is different now. That team is different.
But George, think about it like this. Back to what I was just saying. Like, okay, even if we got all of those guys to come back, is there enough roster spots? Number one, is there enough roster spots? And number two, there's no way you can keep all of them happy.
Yes, it is.
Tell me how.
Yes, it is. All right, so you want to go roster spots first, and then we'll say happy.
We'll go roster spots first.
Roster spots. So Georgia Stars has a 17U team, right?
Yes, they do.
That's 11 guys.
Okay.
All right. AOT. I'm gonna say AOT 17s. They have a 17s.
But okay.
I'm
gonna stop you before you go further.
Right, okay. So we don't want to go to AOT. You don't want to go AOT?
No. I'm not saying you go AOT. I'm fine with that. But you said 11 guys. George, you can't keep 11 elite guys happy on one team.
Okay. When Georgia Stars won Peace Jam, they had 11 guys and they kept them all happy.
Tell me when that's happened again.
Because you choose not to follow the same blueprint. If you follow the blueprint, yeah, I'm gonna have to pay for some rooms for somebody's mom and daddy. Yeah, that's part of keeping them happy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy some airline tickets for somebody's mom and daddy. That's keeping them happy.
Okay.
If I want to go to Peace Jam, I gotta keep folks happy. Whatever it takes to keep them guys happy. That's what we gotta do. Playing time gonna work itself out. Kids will figure out.
11 kids is gonna work itself out.
If you got a good enough coach and a guy that can manage egos, hey, we're going to let you run off a couple buckets. We're going to let you come in run off a couple buckets. We're going to let you come around with buckets. Now, when the game get tight, because if you playing those top guys and each one of them get a chance to eat, they're going to be okay at the end of the game if everybody eat. Wendell Carter was happy that Jared Harper scored. He was happy when Brandon Robinson scored. He was happy when Trent Forrest scored. He was happy when all those guys scored because guess what? It opened up everything for him. It was easy for him. So when you have those teams, when Game Elite had Jaylen Brown and all them guys on that team together, they had 11 guys that was killers on that team. But everybody ate. Everybody on that team got a scholarship. If you teach kids that if you're in a winning team, in a winning program, you don't have to average 25, 30 points.
Absolutely. You would rather have 6 or 7 kids average 8 to 10 points, right?
12, 15 points. Hey, one night somebody may explode for 25. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Next night you may explode for 25, but you just have to create that culture. It's easy. They've done it. Everybody has been a Peace Jam. You look at You look at the team that Trey Young, Michael Porter Jr. was playing on.
Moken. Yeah.
Dude,
They had
that
what,
would be-
6 or 7 NBA guys?
come on, man, on the same roster. You telling me team takeover? They got eight pros on that roster. So it's a matter of coaching and program. If you create a program where kids understand and buy into what you're teaching, yes, I'm gonna have to give extra pair of shoes out. Yes, I'm gonna have to give some extra compression shorts. Yes, I'm gonna have to throw this guy 10 or 15 t-shirts, his mama 10 or 15 t-shirts. Hey, if that's what I gotta do to get the Peace Jam, man, cross my legs and we going to Peace Jam.
Okay. Okay. I can't even argue that. So,
hey, John, you're right.
Comments. Okay. I was
John,
getting ready
you're
to get to
absolutely
that.
right. John, you got to go back to the days when the Celtics and Worldwide, Texas Titans, them guys at Nationals in Florida, they wasn't no ducking nobody.
But it was different. It was different back then, George. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody played in brackets, and that's what it was. Every team came from all over the country before we went to the current grassroots system.
So
like
all we got to do is, I'm gonna call out some people. All we got to do now is the guys that run the events stop letting guys pick who they want to play. They go for high school too. We letting guys pick who they want to play. I don't want to play this guy. I don't want to play this guy. Well, I don't want to play this guy. No. Hey, schedule coming out on Thursday. Be there.
Okay.
And then guess what? If they don't want to play, let them deal with their parents. Their parents gonna be mad if they don't play.
That's true.
That's true. All you have to do with that.
But going back to John's question, there's one other problem as well. Yes, to go to AAU Nationals, but you remember with AAU Nationals back in the day, you had to win your state to get the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, like, how unfair would that? Georgia's state playoffs would be almost a Nationals. I'm not trying to be funny, right? If
you want the best program representing your state. You want the best program, the best team representing your state. I want the best team representing Georgia. I don't care what event it is, whoever the best team is. Right now, Newton County should be representing us. Wheeler should be representing us. Norcross, Grayson, Milton, Pebblebrook. Them some. Oh, don't forget Eagles Landing. Y'all are sleeping on Eagles Landing. FYI.
No, I'm not. I saw that.
Sleeping on Eagles Landing.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They're good.
They're real.
Yeah, they're good.
So those are some of the best teams in the state of Georgia.
And Eagles Landing is coming up to a couple of the showcases in December, so I'll be there to watch them. I wouldn't mind to see Eagles Landing versus Milton or Newton. Again, I'm not calling nobody out, but I would love to see that.
Hey, Sean Williams, make it happen, Sean Williams.
But
Chris called me. Chris, make it happen.
No, George, don't play. George, don't play.
No, I'm serious.
You in this too, brother.
Hey, no, man, them guys, we just trying to.
No, George, no. You can make it happen too.
Hey, I don't mind playing everybody. We gonna play Milton at Wheeler.
No, George. I'm talking about your showcase, George. Don't play with me. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna play Cale. We're gonna play Pennsylvania. Cale is, let me tell y'all this. I love Cale program.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Pit Bulls and Rockwallers. They play the right way. Cosella's got them playing the right way. We have to give people their flowers when, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Cosella's. I'm stupid for playing him. I was stupid last year for playing him, but I'm gonna play him. So we all gonna be in the same bracket. Ain't no ducking in our bracket. We're gonna play who we gotta play. Everybody gonna play who they gotta play.
What is yours, George? What's the dates on yours?
December 29th and 30th. We're gonna be at Wheeler High School. Champions Classic.
Okay.
Champions Classic powered by Colin Sexton. Is one of his ways of giving back. And we're gonna get at it. We had some good teams last year. We got some good teams. We got Windsor Forest coming. We got a team from Memphis coming.
Okay.
who else we got? I don't want to leave. We got McKeitron. I don't want to leave nobody out. This is gonna be. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna be a really good team. We got Monday's Mill. I watched them play.
Oh, Monday's Mill, yeah.
Monday's Mill is gonna be. They're an interesting group. So they're gonna be there. Who else we got? We got a couple other guys coming, but people have to play. We have to play these. We have to play these nationals. We have to play these national teams also. National.
Yeah.
So I know in some years we're gonna have all the big boys. Some years you won't have all the big boys. Like I know Milton's doing a lot of traveling. We're doing a lot of traveling. Willis, a lot of people doing a lot of traveling this year because we couldn't travel that much last year. So a lot of people,
definitely.
So we're gonna have some good games. Madre love the pod game. They do a really good job of post game and pre game interviews. So it's gonna be a good event over at Willa. Willa's beautiful campus. In 2 years we'll have it here at Pebblebrook with every other event with a new gym. So Willa, we're gonna close y'all down in 2 years.
Well, Willa, it'll be Willa's turn to get their gym.
Man, they already got a new gym. They don't need another new gym. He's made all the money in the last 5 years.
They spent all the money.
He's made all the money. All the money. We got to cut that. We got to cut that off a little bit.
Got to cut it. And Larry, you hear Larry and Shep watch the show, so y'all hear
Shep gonna tweet something tonight. I just know that. I love Shep. Shep's a good dude. Shep's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Shep was on the show a couple weeks ago, man. So that was the other thing, man. Like you said, in giving flowers, man, this whole platform is to make sure y'all get y'all flowers, man. Like,
absolutely.
I had Shep, I'm having you, man. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate what y'all doing too, man. This is beautiful what y'all doing for basketball. Allow us to sit here and have a conversation about basketball, about our programs, about the state of Georgia. This is beautiful. And I enjoy it, and I watch the other guys, and we'll get into it about some stuff. I'll have some bulletin board material, and I'm waiting on Shep to say something on Twitter so I can write on the bulletin board for my guys. So it's we all have fun with this, and we all wish each other well. But when it's time to play each other, it's war. Hey, Buford gonna have a hard time replacing. All right. So let me. Y'all do this for me, okay? When y'all see Pebblebrook and Coach Washington not performing at the level and the consistency that we've performed at, come tell me. And I don't think they're gonna have a hard time replacing. I think you just have to find the right individual.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's gonna be a number of people interested in that job.
They already hired a guy. I think they hired a guy.
Oh, they did? Okay.
They hired a guy. They knew who they wanted to hire. They hired a guy.
Gotcha.
I think he's gonna be fine. It's about creating your own identity. He can't go in and be the previous guy or do what the previous guy did. He got to go in and create his own identity. And that's why I tell people, like when Larry came over at Willa, everybody told me it's gonna be hard for him following Doug. No, him and Doug are two different individuals. He created his own identity that was different. And that's why he's been successful with his own identity that he brought with him from Green Forest. So, I don't think it's an issue following the legend. I just think people make the mistake in trying to emulate whoever they following rather than being themselves.
Yeah. But, man, now going back to what you said, like, man, even with this platform, this platform is to put Georgia on the map. But, man, this platform is also one of the things that I was big on and that I wanted to be different. I wanted people from other states to see how good this is, man. You know what I'm saying? So when I bring Shep on, I bring you on, I bring anybody of quality coaches on, so people start scratching their heads like, man, Georgia got some good stuff down there. To go with the educational piece, man, because to me, that was the big thing for me, man. Like, for people to get off of, it's D1 or bust. You know what I'm saying? We got one of the strongest D2 conferences in the country. You know what I'm saying? We got some good D3s down here as well. It's for people to start understanding that, George. You know what I'm saying?
For me, it's about educating people at your school, the parents and the players. Everybody can't go Division I. Everybody's not built to go Division I. And that's exactly. But I think everybody is built to get a college education in some form or fashion. or continued education. So for me, it's about these guys' continued education. I when I first started, I told guys, you know, people got mad because I used the word. I said, don't let the basketball pimp you. You pimp the basketball. We kind of sort of changed a little bit, cleaned it up a little bit. So we don't want them being used. We want you to get the best degree. When I tell my guys to go to college, hey man, get that accounting degree while you're there. Get the best degree you can from that.
Absolutely.
Don't get a degree in something we don't have a clue to what it is. Go get the best degree you can from that university and network as much as possible so that when you graduate, you know some alumni, you know some people that you can fall back on. You know the coach can hire you. Like when we're looking at college coaches for our guys to go play for, hey, has this coach hired any of his former players? Who has this guy helped? So for us, that's what we're looking at. Coaches, we sat down, like we had a kid the other day, we sat down, hey, one reason why Andre Young committed to Coach Cross, it was the relationship that Coach Cross had with his former players. When we reached out to his former players, they were excited about Coach Cross. They talked about going to his home. They talked about him feeding them. They talked about the relationship piece. They talked about how tough it was, but they also talked about the freedom he gave them.
Yeah.
And we actually ran to one of his former players coaching. We coached against one summer, and for us, that was a no-brainer for our kids. So that's the things we look at. What are the coaches doing for our guys after they graduate? And that's important to us.
But see, George, what you just said, and it's funny you're mentioning all of this, like that's the blueprint for this show. That's why I bring coaches on from D1, D2, D3, JUCO, and have them explain that and basically confirm what you're just saying. Because unfortunately, George, not all coaches, and man, you know I'm not trying to shot any coach out here, but not all coaches are doing what you're doing, man. And that's a big part of this podcast, man, so people can understand. You know, can your Pell Grant help you with your athletic scholarship to help you go free? Man, a lot, just simple stuff like that. Parents have no idea. But I'm going to tell you what's crazy. I'm getting messages from parents out of state that are watching this and saying, hey, thank you. You're welcome, absolutely. But I would rather get a lot more of those from Georgia saying, thank you, I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I don't want it to be a situation like people are turning down good scholarships, man, because number one, it's not D1, or they're thinking, oh, it's not a full, there's no way I can get a free ride. Man, you got to do your research. But George, you're breaking it down. And that's what this podcast is for, brother. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. We just got to help each other and help the kids, man. It's all about the kids at the end of the day for me. I want to win a state championship just as bad as anybody else. Like,
yeah,
me, that's the final notch on my belt. But at the end of the day, signing day each year, I mean, we try to do
you're doing
it
your thing. Yeah, you're doing. Like I said, signing day is almost media day for you, George. You know what I'm saying?
Signing day is great. I mean, we've been fortunate to have a lot of guys sign each year, D2, Division I. So we just want to. That's the trend. We just want to keep it going, keep these guys going to school, but also not just getting them there, having them prepared when they go there, and keeping them there. That's the thing. That's the next step of it. How can we help keep those guys there? How can we make sure those guys graduate?
Yeah.
And I'm on coaches. Coaches tell you, like Coach Washington call you in a heartbeat. Hey, man, what is he doing? How is he doing? Hey, can we come see him? I'm on my way to come to practice. So, you know, those are the things that we do a lot of. And I appreciate coaches opening the door, letting us come in when we get ready. But tell Coach from Clayton State, he ain't been to Pebblebrook yet. And
hey, George, I'm going to give him a half pass. I'm going to give him a half pass, George. He's still new, George. Give him a moment.
How long has he been here?
Oh, is it May or June? May or June, something like that. But George, I'm gonna step up for him on this one. He is out there in them streets. I will co-sign on. Dre will co-sign on that too. He's at these showcases. I know for high school, him and his assistant, which I had, you know, both assistants that I had the opportunity to meet. I'll speak on that, man. They'll be at Pebblebrook. I promise. They've been to Wheeler. Okay, they've been to Wheeler, but they coming, George.
And I'm not frozen either. He been to Wheeler? Okay. Now I got a problem.
The assistant been to Wheeler. The assistant's been to Wheeler. But George, trust me, I promise you, he's coming. I promise. Trust me. And I know the assistant is watching since the head coach is on. Trust me, he's coming.
Okay. If he's not here within the next 2 weeks, I'm coming back on the podcast to call him out. I'm giving him a week and a half.
But George, I got a question for you since you just brought everything up. Do you think NAIA and D3 coaches don't want to come see you because they feel like they don't have a chance of getting your players?
Yeah, guys have told me that, but I've invited a lot of them to come out. We had a kid go NAIA. We've had a couple kids go Division II. I haven't had anybody go Division III. I would love for them to, because
like a UA school, like an Emory or Washington University,
I would love
something like that. Oglethorpe, Birmingham Southern.
Yeah, I would love for one of my kids to go there because first and foremost, all my kids have a 3.0 or better.
Okay.
Unless they came to me prior to me, they didn't have that. We're really big on academics. I'm really big on GPAs. So all my guys have really, really good grades. So I would love to see them go to one of those schools where they don't necessarily give a basketball scholarship. They give they give an academic scholarship, and you get to play basketball. So I would love to see one of my guys go there. I've invited them out. Some come, some don't come. Their budget's a little different. But I tell people, let your eyes, whatever your eyes tell you, that's what that's the kid you should take. If he fits what you need, fits a want, and he passed the eye test for you, that's the kid you should go after. Versus in this day and era, everybody's waiting to see who offers somebody. Once somebody offer kid,
it's over.
20 other offers come out and they ain't even seen the kid play. They didn't even talk to the kid. They don't know what kind of character the kid has. They don't even know what kind of grades he got. He may not even qualify to get in your school, but everybody's offered. And that's the issue I have with coaches. When you come and see a kid and the kid performs a certain way and the kid has the grades, what's the holdup?
George, let me ask you this, man. When I do some more of these high academic ones, and just in general, man, I would like to bring you on as a third person, man.
Man, have me on, and I'm gonna have the transcripts. I'm gonna scratch your name out.
I didn't say all that now.
No. If you're gonna have me on, let me bring the transcripts. I'm gonna have transcripts and film. Hey, coach, let's watch this. Nah, I'm just playing. I ain't gonna do nobody like that. Yes, I will.
But no, man. In all seriousness, man, like, because the direction of this show, man, like, you match the direction of this show, and like, even a question I missed because I pretty much freestyle my questions, and a lot of them end up being the same, but because I want to make sure I nail stuff on the head, especially, man, because we've had some UAA schools come on here, man. Listen, George, when they got done, look, me and Dre was like, shoot, where we sign up at?
Hey, and their facilities are better than
exactly, man.
Like we was looking at some D2s the other day.
But see, that's my thing, George. Are we as a basketball community, are we educating folks like that?
Well, I think we are, but the dynamic has changed so much the last 2 years. Nobody wants a high school kid anymore. Everybody you had, everybody you had on tonight,
they want to go older.
Everybody you had a couple years ago, a couple weeks ago, everybody you've had on this year, nobody's saying, hey, I'll take 3 high school kids this year. I'll take 2 or 3 high school kids. Everybody said, I'll take 1 high school kids. I'll take 3 transfers. I'll take 1 JUCO. The high school kids are in so much trouble for the next 2 years. If you're not a 5-star, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble because everybody wants to win right now. And they feel like the best way to win right now is to go old and the transfer.
Yeah.
Go old. But that's why they lose their job in 2 years, because they can't maintain that. Whereas if they would take a high school kid, that high school kid is going to develop under them, get better under them. And the only thing you may do, you may lose that high school kid to a higher level. That's about
it. That's true. Yes. But George,
that's a great recruiting tool, though.
Now I'm gonna say this as well. Yes, you're absolutely right. Here's what totally blew my mind. Out of the UAA schools, I probably had about 75% of them on so far. I probably got like 2 or 3 more I need to have on. Emory, if you're listening, actually, I'm just playing because Emory's going to be on pretty soon. Because I was on the head like, hey man, come on the show, come on the show.
I need Emory to come to the gym. I need them to come by Pebblebrook too.
Okay.
I'll call him that night too.
Okay. And you know what? When he comes on the show, if you're available, you know what I'm saying?
Available. I'm available. It's about kids getting scholarship. Yeah, I'm available.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, George, when people don't understand, like we always talk about the long game, people don't understand you're getting this great D3 UAA education and they sending folks overseas, George.
Absolutely.
Sending them overseas. So really, outside of the money part, now that's a whole different ball game right there, because that money part is real to come out of a parent's pocket. So, you know, and they don't hide that. They be like, listen, it's going to be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Now, what we got to do a better thing of is we got to start getting parents off their behinds and start applying for these grants and merit scholarships as well, especially if every kid on Georgia's team has a 3.0, the next thing is, okay, here is another option for, especially, you know what? I won't say 3.0 because the UAA won't take a 3.0.
3.5.
Yeah,
I got
3.5 and up.
Yes. 3.5.
Yeah, so your 3.5 and up kids, would you say it'd be fair to say, hey, some of you parents need to start looking into, because what I've seen people hustle these merit scholarships to 100,000, 200,000, 250,000 by just applying. Because what I'm finding out is some of them are getting them because they're the only one that apply.
So I'm going to plug somebody real quick because
Okay.
I try to use people and help people network.
Okay.
Dr. Zan Reddish does a real good job of connecting the dots when it comes to grants, schools, and stuff like that. She is fantastic.
Is she here or is she somewhere else?
She's here. She actually, her son played in my where her son played for the Hawks, and her other son played in my program last year.
Oh, yeah.
Cam
Reddish's mom. Okay.
Oh
Man.
my God. When I say you need to have her on one night, I'm gonna send you her info.
Absolutely.
She does a great job of connecting the dots for parents, and she has a service, and that's what they do. So she's talked to our parents about connecting the dots, going through the recruiting process, how the process works, what do you need to ask, what questions you need to ask. And she does a phenomenal job of facilitating that with parents and helping kids and connecting the dots. And we've used her for the last 2.5-3 years to connect the dots on some kids that I wasn't able to connect the dots with. And she's really helped us out on that process. So I'm gonna see you.
That is perfect. That is perfect what you're saying. So, man, I respect you so much for saying that. Like, no coach is 100% at placing their kids.
No.
So, like you said, you're going outside the norm to get them that D3 scholarship, that D2 scholarship, where it's
even prep school.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's been my drive on this whole podcast, man, to try and connect those dots, and to have her would be humongous, man, because like I said, I have all the coaches that come on, and I started it backwards. Instead of having D1s, and I had high academic D2s, D3s. Like, the thing I love about when MIT came on the show, MIT was like, if you can get accepted, George, and you can't pay, we got you. I was like, shoot.
I need to go back to school. Tell them I got 1 year left in these good knees.
But George, seriously, man. I mean, think about that. Like, the coach came on the show, like, again, with me just being about education and knowledge, like you talking about, Dr. Reddish, that was big in itself. But me and Dre was in the background, like, MIT, what? He was in the background, like, man, going for free.
People don't know what that degree will do for your life.
Man, listen, every UAA school, George, came on here boldly and said their graduates make 94 and up. Graduating.
First year out.
They're paid internships their junior year, $40,000 for a summer.
Sign me up.
Right? Man, come on, man. I mean, that's an option. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see Georgia's kids at Syracuse. I want to see Georgia's kids at Georgetown. Yeah, absolutely. I want to see them there. But I also want to see Georgia's kids at Emory. Like you said, Emory come out to the gym. I want to see Georgia's kids at Wash U. I need you to put in touch with him. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Yeah, definitely. Like those type of schools. And Emory and Wash U are really good D3. It's not no, you go there and they're terrible. No, every year they're in the D3 tournament.
Yep.
That's stuff we got to get parents to see because, okay, you go to Emory or Wash U, you do your 4 years, you got your degree, and you're, oh, by the way, oh, I'm going to Croatia or I'm going to Brazil. I'm going wherever. And now we got to change that narrative for kids to be like, wait a minute. I don't have to go big time D1 or mid major or low major to go to the league or go overseas and get paid.
I tell them it's about money.
Yeah.
It ain't about you want to continue to play this sport as long as you can and get paid while doing it. Absolutely. And don't get caught up on the NBA dream. That dream is only for a select few. Select few. But you can go to Israel and be God and make a lot of money. You can go. I got a kid right now playing for POAK over Derek Obedi. He's God over there. He loves it. Like he went from the bottom league. Now he's at the very top league and won 3 championships. So he's not coming like G League called him. He said, Coach, I'm not going to G League. He said, I make more money than most guys in G League. I don't have to pay taxes. They pay for my house and they pay for my food. They pay for my transportation. Why am I coming to the G League to pay for all that stuff myself? That's a good decision, son. Stay over there. Keep posting your game highlights, and I'll keep retweeting them, and we'll Brook boy to death.
But that's what I'm saying, George. Like they have to catch on to this because we got too many kids, like you said earlier in this, man, that are making bad decisions. You know, whether it's their handler or whoever it may be. You know, I'm not here to judge anybody. You know, some people have good intentions, some don't. That's
everything in life.
Yeah,
that's every aspect.
Definitely, man. But hey, man, you'll have me on here to midnight messing with you, man.
Nah, we gotta go. I gotta be back up here at 6:30. We got weightlifting at 6:30. I can't weightlifting during the day like Willa does, so we gotta do it in the morning.
George, don't start, George. And like I said, that phone or them text and tweets gonna come out tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
But yeah,
man, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love of the pod game, Hoop Hidden Gems podcast. Oh man, this is great. I appreciate you guys. You guys have done a lot for our program, a lot for our kids, and we appreciate it. Anything y'all need, anytime y'all need to get in the gym is always open to you guys. And Locke is the only one. Locke and Bryce, the only two got to pay to come in the game.
Hey, I'll clip that and send it to them, man. But they know what it is. They already know. Hey, man. Well, I'm gonna see you within the next couple of weeks because it's that time of the year, man. I can't wait. You know, I've been on the road, on the JUCO road, man. So November 9th. Showcases. And I'm waiting, bro. And you know,
November 9th. We lace them up. November 9th. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're gonna have that gym. It's gonna be hot. You better
ask them. I already know what it is. I already know. Hey man, I mean it about them when you're coming on with those D3 coaches, man. I mean it, man.
Call me when y'all do it. I'm ready. We there.
Okay. Hey man, go ahead and get you some rest, man. I need to get at you because I need to get over there and check out Pebblebrook this week, man. What time y'all practice?
No, it's not practice yet. Pebblebrook works out per GSA rules. We work out. Text me. I'll tell you what time we work out. Text me. Let me know when you want to come. I'll tell you what time.
All right, man. I'll get at you, man, because I'm gonna get that information tonight, man.
All right, I appreciate you.
All right, man. You have a good one, George.
Have a good one.
All right, man. That's Coach Washington, man. As you can see, we can go for hours with George, and honestly, I didn't even get to touch all the topics about some of his previous players, but I was warned. But hey, you live and learn. And like I said, that's our guy. And like I said, He's for the kids, so he's always going to be welcome on this show. Man, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We went from 7 to 10 tonight. Woo, woo. Hey, but it was worth every minute of it. Thank everybody that came on the show tonight. This is probably one of our best ones, hands down. We'll be back on next week as usual. I still got the tour going next week. I got some more places to go next week, but they're not that far. They're very close, 2 hours away. I'm totally for that. I'll keep everybody abreast of how that goes. Check out Hoops Hitting Gyms Twitter page. I'm going to do the recap on the Orlando All-American JUCO Showcase on Saturday. I'm going to do the recap on the Midwest JUCO Showcase in Carbondale yesterday. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Episode 32. We're going to be back on next week. Enjoy the rest of your week and keep grinding. You all have a good one. Thank you.